3, 2, 1. What the fuck did you just fucking say about me, you little bitch? I'll have you know I graduated top of my class in the Navy SEALs, and I've been involved in numerous secret raids on Al-Qaeda, and I have over 300 confirmed kills. I am trained in guerrilla warfare, and I'm the top sniper in the entire U.S. Armed Forces. You are nothing to me but another target. I will wipe you the fuck out with precision, the likes of which has never been seen before on this earth. Mark my fucking words. You think you can get away with saying that shit to me over the internet? Think again, fucker. As we speak, I am contacting my secret network of spies across the USA, and your IP is being traced right now, so you better prepare for the storm, maggot. The storm that wipes out the pathetic little thing you call your life. You're fucking dead, kid. I can be anywhere, anytime, and I can kill you in over 700 ways, and that's just with my bare hands. Not only am I extensively trained in unarmed combat, but I have access to the entire arsenal of United States Marine Corps, and I will use it to its fullest extent to wipe your miserable ass off the face of the continent, you little shit. If only you would have known what unholy retribution your little clever comment was to bring it down upon you. Maybe you would have held your fucking tongue, but you couldn't. You didn't, and now you're paying the price, you goddamn idiot. I will shit fury all over you, and you will drown in it. You're fucking dead, kiddo. Hi, everyone.
Who is that?
God damn.
It's the Navy SEAL copy pasta.
It's the copy pasta.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
It's a meme.
God.
Somebody on 4chan got
Jesus.
really mad at somebody and decided to be an internet tough guy, and then everybody copied and pasted it.
Okay.
We're Sardonicast, everybody.
Have you ever had one of those written about you? Like they just like swap the name
Yeah.
and put yours in?
People write
course,
copy
yeah,
pastas
yeah.
on my subreddit all the fucking time. And every once in a while it gets me. It'll be like, I'll be like, what? I didn't meet somebody at a mall and act rude to them. And then I'll search it and I'll be like, oh,
Yeah.
everybody's posting this shit about everybody and I'm just supposed to understand it's a meme. Okay.
Yeah, that was mine too. Someone
Yeah.
said like I stole some kid's chocolate bar or something.
Yeah, I don't know where the fuck that one came from.
I didn't do that.
I've seen that one everywhere. It's so weird.
I saw Ralph in the store the other day, and I'm like, what? I wasn't in that store.
I'm Adam from Your Movie Sucks. This is Sardonicast.
Yeah. I'm Ralph from youtube.com/Ralph the Movie Maker.
And I'm Alex from IHE. I guess we've run out of YouTube intros for the start now. It's just memes now.
This was a request on the subreddit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we had a YouTube intro last time. I've actually still got another one up my sleeve, at least one.
Oh, damn.
So we'll run out eventually. Maybe we won't. Maybe there'll just be new YouTubers filling their shoes. But I don't think we should just be limited to YouTube intros. Once we did SpongeBob.
No, I'm with you.
Yeah, could be anything. You'll see. You'll all see.
I believe it after that recorder thing.
Oh yeah. So
Anyway,
the Oscars happened.
the Oscars. Yeah.
And we're all hyped.
I
We're
didn't
all
watch 'em.
buzzed about it.
I heard my friends laughing at it from the other room.
Oh,
but,
you
like,
had
that's it.
friends watching it in the other room, and you were just so
Yeah.
disinterested.
No, I was playing.
Uninterested.
I was playing Red Dead.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I didn't give
Better
a
choice.
fuck.
How many hours have you put into it
I had a
now?
great time. Red Dead?
Yeah, Red
I
Dead
don't
2.
know. I don't know.
What chapter are
doesn't
you
it-
on?
Well, I finished the whole game. I did
Oh.
that a while ago.
Like the campaign. So what are you doing now?
Yeah. I'm just fucking around.
Okay.
Go into town, tie some people up in the middle of the street, and then put a bunch of dynamite down, and then, let it loose.
Yeah.
Just
That's
being
how you have fun
psycho,
in Red
yeah.
Dead too, when
Yeah.
the story's done.
I just beat it on Sunday. It's
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
Oh, really?
I like the game overall, but it did drag on a really fucking long time campaign wise. There's so
Well,
much.
which part?
I don't know, 2 chapters of epilogue. I don't know, like the whole end.
Yeah.
Like even before that, I was just like, come on, I want this to be over.
The only chapter I thought was weak was the one where they went to that foreign country.
Yeah, that
It
was a
was
weak
like,
chapter for
some
sure.
Some like South American,
Some
Oh,
island.
yeah, that island
Caribbean
thing.
island,
Yeah.
something like that.
That was
Yeah.
definitely a
But
weak
that was
chapter.
the weakest chapter.
That was unnecessary.
And I went back there to explore it, because I love exploring every nook and cranny. And there's
Oh,
not
you can
much
go back
there.
there. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You the only way you can go back there is if you load your game from when you were there.
Oh, like load a
That's
mission
the only
from there
way.
or something.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So I
Oh,
did
that's
that,
funny.
and I tried exploring, and like the guys will just try shooting you if you try to go anywhere close to the castle. So it's like pointless.
All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're supposed to be talking about the Oscars.
Well, but they're so interesting
I guess we can talk about
that
it then.
Yeah,
I mean,
clearly.
we just want to talk about them
Yeah.
so bad and not talk about Red Dead 2. Who won for what? What are the categories?
Okay. I have the list up so we can quickly go through them. I'm only going to read the winners. Let's start with Best Actress. This is a good one to start with. Winner Olivia Colman for The Favourite. That was my pick out of the
That
choices.
was my happiest result.
I was happy to hear about that one
Yeah.
and Rami. But
Yeah, which was next.
We'll get
Best
to
Actor winner Rami Malek for Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah, not unhappy with that one.
yeah, I didn't like the movie that much, but he was good. He was definitely the best part. He deserved
And
that.
considering the other nominees for this category, I mean, well, it's not that strong really for Best Actor. So
I
Yeah.
thought Christian Bale did a great job, honestly.
to be fair, I haven't seen Vice. So
Yeah, he
whatever.
did a fucking
liked Vigo,
fantastic
but-
job. I could have seen him winning easily, but I mean, Rami was the more popular one, I guess.
Yeah.
Best Supporting Actress, Regina King for If Beale Street Could Talk. Haven't seen that one.
Yeah,
What do you
I
reckon?
saw it. I mean, she was really good in it. I really, this was a category that I did not have any strong opinions on because like they were all
Mhm.
great, but there wasn't a clear winner in my head. So
Yeah, I can see that.
Beale Street didn't get anything, right?
it got Best Actress, and I think that's it, or Best Supporting Actress. I
okay.
mean.
Is that one worth
Oh,
a
yeah.
watch? I haven't bothered watching it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It was better than like half the nominees for Best Picture. That's for sure. It's not as good
Alright.
as Moonlight. It does drag on a little. Like it does get a little repetitive, but overall, it's probably the most aesthetically beautiful film I saw at TIFF in terms of like color palette and framing. Like it's a
Yeah.
very nice looking movie. Soundtrack's really great, although they do play one song a couple too many times, and some really great and powerful scenes in the movie. Honestly, like it's a 7 from me.
Okay.
I think
I will check
it has
that
its
one out.
flaws, but definitely worth watching. Definitely better than a lot of the Best Picture nominees.
Yeah.
They probably didn't even see it.
Yeah, who knows?
Best Supporting Actor, Mahershala Ali, Green Book. Thoughts?
No real strong opinion. I thought it would have went to Sam Elliott though.
Yeah. I mean, but he was good though. He's not the issue with Green Book.
Yeah, I thought he was good in the movie.
Yeah.
I'm not
I thought
like,
him and
angry about
Vigo
this
were
choice.
very good.
I thought he was.
But-
I thought he was good. Maybe I just didn't like his character.
Okay.
I mean, it's the way he was written too.
Exactly.
It's the...
I just found him to be kind of.
We're going to talk
obnoxious.
about Green Book. Green
Yeah,
Book
we'll get
has
into
a lot
that
of
more
issues.
towards the end
Yeah.
when we get to Best Picture. Best Director, Alfonso Cuarón for Roma.
Good.
Not unhappy.
happy
Would have
about that
been cool to see Yorgos get it, but not unhappy about Alfonso.
Yeah.
Yorgos will have his day. I mean, Roma deserves it though.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing to get angry about there. Best Original Screenplay, Green Book.
Woo!
Really?
Over
Best
The
best
Favourite,
screenplay.
over Roma, over First Reformed.
Yeah.
Didn't they not do their research on the... Well, they didn't consult the other guy's family in Green Book. They consulted the Italian guy's family, not the black musician.
Oh, that's funny.
So
That's
yeah,
hilarious.
They won best screenplay.
Wow.
Even though they didn't do their research.
Wow, really?
Yeah, really.
That almost seems like contradictory to the
There's that
themes
scene
of
he's
the
eating
film.
fried chicken. He's eating fried chicken, right? And then
Yeah.
apparently in real life the guy liked fried chicken. But in the movie they play it up like he hated it. Like, oh, it's disgusting.
It's supposed to subvert your expectations.
Yeah, Vigo's like, oh,
And destroy
is it
stereotypes.
the food of your people? Oh God.
You don't know Aretha Franklin? This is your
We're just
music.
turning this into the Green Book discussion. Let's
Well,
go through the rest before we go
Yeah,
into
sorry.
Everything comes back to Green Book in the end, doesn't it?
it.
Yeah,
It does.
yeah,
It is
yeah.
the ultimate winner. Anyway, Best Adapted
It's
Screenplay.
the ultimate wiener.
Yeah. Black Klansman for Adapted Screenplay.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm happy
Yeah,
it got
whatever.
something.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my preferred win would have been Buster Scruggs, but there's no way that would have happened, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not an outrage or anything. This is fine.
No, yeah, that's just fine. Next one was Best Animated Feature, and
Yeah.
Into the Spider-Verse took it, which I was personally
Which was
quite
good.
happy with. I was very scared Incredibles 2 was going to take it.
That would have been very funny. Did you see that apparently there was like a Blu-ray cover sold at certain stores that had for Ralph Breaks the Internet, they had winner of the 2019 Best Animated Feature because they
Really?
printed them before the awards were actually announced.
For Wreck-It Ralph 2?
Yeah.
Wreck-It Ralph.
That's weird.
Yeah, they were thinking that
I thought
they
you were
won.
going to say The Incredibles 2.
No, for Wreck-It Ralph 2.
Because that makes sense.
Yeah.
But they thought Wreck-It Ralph 2
Somebody
was
snapped a
best
photo of
Easily
that
the
and
weakest
posted it
film
on Twitter.
out of all of those.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Because didn't you see it recently, Adam? I saw it was rated.
I saw the first 10 minutes before I skipped through it and vomited.
It's bad, isn't it?
It's not good.
Can't believe it's nominated. Like, it's actually an insult to the category, in my opinion.
It's
that
the
one.
animated feature category. Fucking Box Trolls was nominated the year that the Lego Movie wasn't. Didn't even nominate the Lego Movie, but they nominated Box Trolls. I think that was the year that like Big Hero 6 won too.
Yeah, no, it did. But I think this is the first one out of like 6 movies in a row or something where Disney hasn't won an award.
More than that.
Is it more? I went and looked at what they were, and Brave won an Oscar.
Yeah, of
Brave.
course.
Remember
Of
that
course,
movie?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, not a
Jesus, man.
surprise.
They just don't care at all, do they?
If you make an animated feature that is a legitimately great movie, but it doesn't appeal to families and children, then they won't pick it. Spirited Away barely fits that mold. Like, you could still be like a young person and still watch that movie. Like, Miyazaki is considered, like, even though there's kind of adult things that happen in it, it's still considered like family-esque.
It's
Yeah.
for
Like
all
family
ages.
enough,
Yeah.
even if there's some scary things that happen in it.
Older kids.
Yeah.
Like, you got a tween or something. You can
Whereas,
watch
like,
it.
Isle of Dogs is not really a kid's movie. Anomalisa was not
No.
a kid's movie at all. So,
No.
of course, they wouldn't win. And, yeah, I mean, like, for Spider-Man, technically, even though it's a Sony film, it does help promote the entire franchise of Marvel and Disney. And they're making money off of it in certain ways, right? So...
Disney
I mean, it's not to
always
say
wins.
the film actually deserves it, though, I reckon, out of those.
Yeah,
those
I mean,
votes.
Isle of Dogs is a better movie in my opinion, but you guys, I mean, you
yeah,
guys can.
I would have been
disagree,
happy with
that's
either of those two. So I was just glad it wasn't, Incredibles 2 or
Yeah,
Ralph
yeah, it
Breaks
was
the
nice.
Internet, especially Ralph Breaks the Internet.
fine. Yeah, we got to see
Yeah.
those two boys get their Oscar when they were snubbed from the Lego Movie. So
Oh yeah,
Mhm. Phil Lord and Chris
Yes.
Miller.
Chris
Thank
Miller,
you.
yeah.
Lord,
Anyway. Oh,
Best foreign language film, Roma.
uh,
So, not a surprise at all.
that was weird. That was nominated for Best Picture and Best
Yeah.
Foreign
That's
Film.
happened
That's
before.
very weird.
That's happened before.
But that could hypothetically mean you win twice. I know that it's most likely not going to happen, but still, it's fucking weird. Just nominate it for one of them. Either Best Picture or Best Foreign Film.
I forget if Best Animated was no. I think there was an animated film nominated for Best Picture, but that was before they had their own category for animated. So I don't know. I think I think when it comes to having a category like Best Foreign Language Film, it's only just to make up for the fact that the Oscars will never really nominate foreign films for Best Picture. Like it's happened 3 times now
No.
total. Like
Yeah.
Amour, Roma, and like one other film.
It's an industry event for Hollywood, so it's movies that mainly come out of the industry here and America. But yeah, they treat foreign films like they're this other thing.
Yeah, there's no reason why they
these
have
movies
to.
aren't as valuable as the ones we make. So, but we'll give them a little award. We'll chuck like one award at
rich.
them. Every country pick one movie.
It's not written into the rules that it has to be an industry event for Hollywood and not pay attention to movies made outside of America. It's not like that's the goal of the Oscars.
No.
In writing.
But I'm saying you got to
at
be realistic
least.
about what they're going to see.
Oh, yeah, of
they're in
course.
Hollywood. They're
They're
a bunch
old
of Hollywood
farts.
elitists.
Yeah.
And they have all their friends are like these movie producers who
Hollywood
just send
is
them
the
all these movies
best.
for free. Yeah.
All of the best films every year come from America only. Isn't that
Hollywood
crazy?
specifically.
Damn
What a
straight.
coincidence.
The thing is, that kind of used to be true, and now it's not.
What do you mean kind of used to be true?
Used to be. Well, the film industry was born here.
Well, I mean, depending on how far back you go, I guess.
Yeah, I guess depending on how far back. You could. I guess that's debatable.
Yeah, I guess that is pretty debatable in my opinion.
I think this is the first country where it was a huge success, and it became like this huge industry.
if we're talking
we're
about
the
like
first
big
ones to
budget
create a whole
Hollywood
film industry,
crowd pleasing in a
Yeah.
sense.
making movies this thing that anyone can see. But
Yeah, you might as well just not even have anybody announce the foreign language category if you're going to have the same film and being nominated for several other awards, including Best Picture. Because there's no question. You can't have Roma nominated for Best Picture and then choose Shoplifters for Best Foreign Language. That wouldn't make sense.
No.
Like, you've already decided it with the nominations. And it deserved it. I mean,
Yeah.
out of the nominations, for sure.
Sure.
No Burning nomination. That was weird.
No, because they can only
Not
pick one
surprising.
movie from each country too.
No,
One
the
movie per
Burning was
country.
Korean.
Yeah, South Korean. They didn't pick.
They didn't.
Oh,
they
did
didn't
South Korea
submit
pick
it.
Burning?
Well, let's look at this.
No, you know what? South Korea probably submitted it and they just didn't accept it.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was
Oh,
implying
okay.
here. I'm
Sorry.
pretty sure they
My bad.
submitted Burning. Why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
They probably didn't watch it. It's probably too long or something for them.
It's probably too long. I'd rather watch a movie with Americans in it.
It probably is. They didn't want to read.
They don't
Yeah.
speak English.
Quite seriously,
Let me
like
watch Green Book again.
the Academy voters do not watch every single film. Like they don't.
No.
It's obvious, isn't it?
Yeah, they just don't give a shit.
My friend goes to film school, and someone who's on like a part of the team who votes on the movies was like bragging about how they haven't seen all the films for some
Yeah.
reason. It's
A
just
lot
like
of them are like that.
such a farce.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Imagine
I
being
told
proud
you,
of
I think I
that.
said before on the show, I have a friend who gets the screeners too, and he just gives them to his maid, and the maid watches them and votes.
yeah.
Like that's just the way most of them are, I think. Most of these award voters.
Chloe Grace Moretz is an Academy voter now, and she was
Really?
Yeah, she actually
She's gonna vote for herself.
she seemed to take it more seriously, I guess, than you'd expect. But at the same time,
Mhm.
she was on Jimmy Kimmel saying like, "Oh yeah, I was just watch it with my siblings and then kind of get their thoughts on it and be like, which one did you like better?" I'm like, "Well, why are you the voter if you're just getting your siblings? If you can't even like
how does
determine
it actually work?
Well, they get screeners and then they have like a ballot. So
Mhm.
they just
I'm
check
just
a
wondering
box or
how many
whatever.
people like
Are Academy
roughly.
voters? There's like
Yeah.
thousands apparently.
Yeah, thousands.
Yeah, it must be
So-
quite a few.
They
It's a
added a
whole
bunch
huge
more
building
because it
in
was
LA.
too many old white men. So they were like, "Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I guess it's showing in our choices." So they added some more.
Yeah, and it didn't work because Green Book still won.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if you could actually see where the votes were going. You know, actually see some statistics.
Yeah. Hold them accountable. Release the emails.
Yeah, man. Okay, let's move on. Best documentary feature, Free Solo. Anyone seen that?
Yeah,
Adam?
I've seen all of the best documentary nominations.
I heard Free Solo was good,
Yep.
but Minding the Gap is what I saw, and I don't know. I think that deserved it.
I preferred Minding the Gap. I am not surprised
Yeah.
that Free Solo got Best Picture. They were both great. My only really big issue with Free Solo was the score. It deserved a much better score, as in like the soundtrack.
Mhm.
It was from the guy that did the score for Amusement and World War Z.
Oh.
So he'll create like a stock score, and this is probably the best score he's ever made for this film. But it was still just kind of like, oh, this could be in any movie. When I feel like the visuals
Yeah.
deserved so much
Yeah.
more. There were two documentaries in this category, the Hale County one and RBG, that totally did not really deserve to be there at all. And there were three other documentaries I've seen in 2018 that were just so much better. Alex, you mentioned one already. The Peter Jackson, They Shall Not Grow
Yeah.
Old. That, like, easily you could have made room for that. There was Three
Yeah.
Identical Strangers. There was the Mr. Rogers documentary, the
Yeah.
Won't You Be My Neighbor? Like,
Won't You
those
Be
are
My Neighbor?
three right there that, like, were so much better than at least two, possibly even three of the nominations there by far. And it was just so weird that they didn't include them there. I have no idea why.
Because they think no one cares about documentaries. It doesn't fit into the circle jerk of Hollywood, you know.
I'm surprised they didn't campaign to get those removed, like added to the commercial breaks, like they were going to do for editing
Yeah.
and cinematography, when they just don't even announce them on television.
I would recommend you watch Free Solo. There's once you've seen it, the guy whose name I forget, but the subject of the documentary, the solo climber, there was a really good YouTube video that I watched recently, where some I forget, media online YouTube company or whatever, interviewed him breaking down climbing scenes in movies. So it'll be like him
Oh yeah.
talking about like the stunts in Mission Impossible 2 or whichever one that was, where they're like climbing up the mountain. And it's so very interesting and very like fascinating. And this guy's just like top of his game, and he knows like every detail. He's talking about like the different techniques, and it's really interesting hearing him talk about it. Or like, oh, that's not possible. That's not realistic.
Cool. I'll look that up later.
Best original song. Shallow won that one from A Star Is Born.
Not surprised.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yeah,
like
me
that
neither.
song, but I think I like the Buster Scruggs song better.
Yeah.
That was never gonna win,
I know.
especially compared to the Lady Gaga song was so popular.
Of course that was going to win.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing
Yeah.
surprising about that.
And I'm not even like upset about it, really.
Nah, me neither. At least Stars Born didn't win anything else.
Yeah, that's true.
I was kind of worried Lady Gaga would win instead of Olivia Colman. Not that Lady Gaga's bad, but
That would be disappointing. Not nearly as disappointing as a Melissa McCarthy win in that category.
yeah, that would have been the worst.
That would have been hell on earth. That would have been a disaster, and I'm glad it
I would
didn't
have liked to
happen.
have heard your scream.
Oh,
if
God.
she'd
I
won.
would have been so upset.
Okay, staying on the music thing.
Yeah, sure.
Best original score. Black Panther won. I'm not
Black Panther won
too
a
happy
lot,
about that.
right?
Yeah.
It won a few, didn't it?
I wouldn't say it's best score. No.
Yeah. It was it was
I'll leave
just
it there.
Marvel music and added African drums, and that's it. Really.
There's nothing memorable about it.
Black Klansman had a really great score. It was a bit overused. Same with Beale Street.
Yeah.
Isle of Dogs had a
Isle
great
of Dogs.
score.
Suspiria, which I
Oh
didn't
yeah,
mention.
there's so many that weren't nominated this year that it was just,
Yeah, tons of great
upsetting.
scores.
you know.
The next two go to Black Panther, those being Best Production Design, which, I mean, if you're going to give it anything, fine.
Yeah.
Give it that
I'm
one.
actually okay with that one. It
Yeah.
deserves that.
I think
Yeah.
Roma would have been my pick for that.
Yeah, me too. But I mean, that's the best thing Black Panther does.
It's not an outrage or anything.
Yeah, and it also got costume design, which is hard to get angry over too.
Yeah, it was a costumey movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, clearly a lot of work went into that.
Yeah,
I'll give it that. Best cinematography, Roma.
nice.
I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
That's a good
I
one.
Alfonso
thought that was
Cuarón
pretty
won
obvious.
again because he was the cinematographer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
What a fucking crazy talented guy.
he was nominated for 4 different categories, like literally
Yeah.
himself as an individual.
Yeah.
So it's like, did he write a speech for every single one? He got up on mic like 3 times.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah,
He deserves it.
no,
Yeah.
yeah, he does.
the Academy likes him too, which is good.
Yeah.
Best visual effects, First Man,
Not unhappy.
which would have been my pick out of
Yeah.
those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just
Good
glad
choice.
Ready Player One didn't win. That would have been my anger moment.
I'm happy Black Panther didn't win. Didn't Black Panther win?
It didn't get
It wasn't even
nominated for that.
nominated for that one.
It wasn't
No.
nominated for.
Oh, really?
at
Cool.
The Oscars.
I didn't know that.
It was
but
Avengers,
it won for one of these
Christopher
like
Robin.
BAFTA or something.
Oh yeah, it was
Ready
some
Player
other
One
random
solo.
awards thing.
Yeah.
Was it the BAFTAs?
I don't know. I have no
Who
idea.
knows? There's so
Anyway,
many
continue.
of them.
Yeah.
Okay, best makeup, obviously going to Vice.
Yeah, that was predictable.
Deserved.
There's like that award seems created for that movie this year. It's like no competition.
I really want to see Border. That was another nominee in that category, and I missed it.
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to see it while I was at TIFF, and now it's like impossible to find.
Mm.
Best sound editing, Bohemian Rhapsody. And it
Boo.
also won for mixing.
Yeah, I know. That's such bullshit. I don't think the Academy understands the difference. I think they don't, like, the majority of Academy voters are like, this movie had sound, and so they just check the same answer for both. It was the same answer for both last year, too.
Do you think it's more about that the film is about sound and music, so they just assumed, oh, it must be good because they're doing it in the movie?
I think so. And also, like, they watch these on DVD screeners. So, like, there's no guarantee at all that they're listening to this with a
Yeah.
good sound setup.
Oh, they're absolutely not.
Yeah, they might be playing it on their
Most of them
fucking
aren't.
phone, as David Lynch would say. Like,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. I don't think they have a thorough understanding of the sound category at all. Roma would have been a great choice for both of them. A Star is Born would have been a great choice for mixing also. Like, that's something where I actually noticed, like, oh wow, they actually did a great job mixing for the music scenes in general, like when it was like the difference between, the crowd performances and at home, and I thought they did a great job with that. But yep.
Well, Bohemian Rhapsody's streak wasn't quite over because it won the award we're all quite pleased about, I'm sure. Best film editing. Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh God.
Terrible editing. Terrible editing.
It was like easily the worst one.
Well, the film feels very recut.
Yeah.
By
For sure,
producers. I mean, we talked about how Queen had influence over the movie. I'm convinced, like, the band members kept adding in close-ups of the characters of themselves in the movie. Like, there's that
one
scene. It's the
scene.
famous scene that's on
sense,
Twitter. Yeah, when they're like sitting at the table outside, and they just keep cutting the random close-ups to them.
So bad.
Because I think the band members just I want more close-ups of me. I think they fucking ruined the movie.
How can they see what I'm thinking in this scenario? Yeah, any one of those nominees I would have been happier with. Maybe not Vice, though. Vice had some pretty obnoxious editing, but Bohemian Rhapsody was the most, like, incompetent. Vice was just poor concept for editing.
Yeah, it never went above being serviceable to me in Bohemian Rhapsody. Like,
Yeah.
There were points where it was fine and did the job, but there was nothing about it that really screamed, yeah, this is really striking me purely on an editing level, like Suspiria did and should have won.
Yeah.
I'm just
Wasn't
happy
even
that there
nominated.
were some
Or The Favorite.
memes.
If you're going to talk about something nominated, The Favorite totally
yeah.
deserved editing. I mean, that movie,
Yeah.
the way they cut
You're right. You're
added a lot of
absolutely
comedic effect to a lot
true,
of
yeah.
the scenes.
Yeah,
So.
it really helped with the flow and the tension and the pacing. Like, that's
Right.
something where the editing isn't as noticeable, like you're not going to pay attention to the editing, but it does help the film out so much.
Right.
Best animated short. Have any of us seen all of these?
Yes.
No.
I have.
It's the one with the dumpling, right?
Bow,
Yeah, the winner was
bow,
the
bow.
Pixar movie.
Pixar movie.
Bow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pixar wins
That's
the
what
best
won.
animated. Animal Behavior was good, and the rest were either lukewarm or bad. Weekends was fine, but the other two were kind of bad.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got nothing to say on that one.
Yep.
And the same for documentary short.
I didn't see
Period, end
any
of
them.
sentence won that one. Yeah. And penultimate one, best live action short, winner Skin.
I saw all of them. It was the funniest fucking one, and unintentionally so. It was easily the worst one. It was so
What, Skin?
cartoonish. Yeah. The trailer looks good. It looks promising, but like, holy
Right.
crap. It is just so unbelievably cartoonish. You have to see it. It's the funniest fucking thing in the world. I'm not even kidding. I laughed out loud by myself to the ending of that movie. You can find it on iTunes.
Oh, really?
If you go Oscars 2019 shorts and just search for that on iTunes, I'm sure you can find it. They've got a bunch of them, and Skin is on there. Holy crap, it was so funny. Mother was the
I'll have
best
to
one I
check that
saw out of the live action shorts. And Skin was easily the worst.
Another movie called Mother. There's so many movies called Mother. Mother or Mommy or Mom.
There's 3 films called Mother that I've rated 7 or above on IMDb.
There's like 3 called Mommy, right? Or
There's
there's
well,
2?
there's at least one called Mommy that I can think
Yeah.
of. But there's
Whatever.
3 called Mother that I know of that I actually like a lot. So
Moms are very popular.
Well, we're here, guys. We're here at Best Picture.
oh god.
Green Book. Winner.
Barf.
Hilarious pick.
Barf.
I was not expecting this one at all.
Which
So
you
who
guys
won?
made me watch, so I guess now we're going to talk about Green Book.
I didn't make you watch. Quite honestly,
I'm just joking. I'm joking.
you asked the question, should I watch Green Book or Climax? And I think Ralph, you just told him to watch Green Book, right? I don't remember.
Yeah.
But I kind of like
Just watch
I
Green
really
Book.
wanted you to watch Climax, but I didn't want to step in and try to like persuade or control you here.
Oh,
'cause you
I
can
want him to watch Climax too.
Yeah.
But like,
We're not going to not
Green
talk
Book
about
is all the
Climax,
rage
though.
right
I just
now.
figured,
Everyone's
gotta give
with
their
the
2
Oscars.
cents.
Yeah, just make sure to catch that one before it's out of theaters. It might only be in
Yeah,
for
yeah.
like
Yeah.
a short time.
Maybe next week we'll talk
Holy
about it.
crap.
I want to see it again too.
Oh yeah, I've seen it twice now.
Mm.
Green Book.
It's funny. We thought Black Panther was gonna win.
Yeah.
You know, to just to show that the Academy's really progressive. And then the Academy ended up picking like the most racist movie of the year.
Pretty
Basically.
much.
Not to call it like blatantly racist, but I
It's
mean, just
subtly
like what I
racist,
was saying
yeah.
before, the fact that they just didn't even acknowledge or talk to this guy's family or give a fuck about his character is hilarious.
It's also in concept kind of like a white savior movie. You know, it's like another The
yeah,
Blind
it really
Side.
is.
It's like,
Yeah,
you can't
which
have
also won
any
Oscars.
progress in your own racial history. Let's ignore everything that black people did and focus on the white guy that helped out.
It was so safe and by the numbers.
It was
and, like,
something
there was
that
nothing
old white
offensive
men would
about
love. It's an old
Yeah,
white man
that's-
movie.
Well, it's a dad movie. My dad loved it. Not to insult
Everyone's
him.
dad
My
loves
dad loved
this
it.
movie.
Everyone's dad loves this movie. Everyone's dad's like, you got to see Green Book. It's the best movie of the year.
I'm actually unconfident that my dad would love it. I'm proud of that.
Yeah, I'm sure he would.
I said
It's 'cause
unconfident.
it's a safe, you know.
Oh, you're
It's
unconfident. I thought
obvious.
you said
It had
confident.
no subtlety. I had two huge issues with it. The first being that it had no subtlety, and it was just really repetitive to me. The
Yeah.
structure of the scenes was just on loop the whole time, and the dialogue was really repetitive too, and the things they're actually talking about.
It was so repetitive.
Yeah,
It was the same thing over and over again.
It's shot like a comedy. It's shot and lit like a comedy.
It was
Yeah.
written like a comedy, though. Did you not notice
Yeah.
the setup punchline type structure of the scenes?
It was
there's
directed
a lot
by
of-
the director of like Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, he's a comedy
Yeah.
director.
Yeah.
So they brought like that aesthetic to it. But the subject matter and what I was expecting going into it, because I saw this movie after it got the Oscar, was like an Oscar-worthy film, like a Best Picture-worthy, like Roma or something. And it was really a silly comedy with very little to say about the subject matter of racism.
yeah.
It's all been said
and it won Best
before.
Picture. Yeah, it's all been said before. There's nothing safe about it. Its stance on like police, like they have the point where like not all cops, you know, they have that point, and it's like, yeah, obviously not all cops. It's fucking, I don't know.
It's basically a road trip movie.
Yeah, it's a weird.
It's
road
like a
trip
corny
movie.
road
but you
trip
have
movie.
Black Klansman and Blind Spotting and like these really profound movies about
Yeah.
this subject matter that are ballsy and have something to say, something new to say.
Yeah.
And Blind Spotting's not even nominated, and they give Best Picture to this movie, which has nothing to say.
Neither is Beale Street, too.
No, at Beale Street, fuck all.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see why Spike Lee was upset.
Does this one annoy you more than what was it called? The one about the pedophiles a few years ago.
Spotlight?
Spotlight, yeah.
Bohemian Rhapsody? While Spotlight is, I think, just as forgettable as this one. I
no,
mean, like, they're
Spotlight's a much better movie than this. Much better movie than this.
I thought they were kind of similar.
Yeah, they're,
You know,
they're
like, they're
both
just
No,
fine.
they're both
no,
really
they do the job.
lukewarm.
The authenticity of Spotlight is very real. Like, that's a journalist experience, and that's probably what it was like to be those people. Like, I appreciate the authenticity they
Sure.
put into crafting that. This has there's nothing authentic about it at all.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was a cartoon character.
Yeah, there were some
Yes,
cartoony.
I mean,
people in
I
this
didn't even
movie.
think about it in terms of the fact it's supposed to be based on real people until the very
Yeah.
end. Like, they don't really feel like people; they feel like characters in a movie.
Yeah,
Very much so.
exactly. Yeah, it's definitely a Oscar baity fucking movie.
Yeah. So you guys watched it live, right, when it won?
I did. Alex didn't.
No, I was fast asleep. It would have
Yeah,
been like 4
time
a.m.
zones,
Well-
man.
For those of you who don't know, Spike Lee got up like when it won, and he tried running out of the theater, and Jordan Peele had to calm him down because like Spike Lee was pissed, and I understand
Really?
why. I think if any other movie won, he wouldn't be as pissed as he was. But the fact that Green Book won, I could see him watching Green Book and being fucking furious. Especially that fried chicken scene. I could picture Spike Lee watching that scene, wanting to fucking kill somebody.
Yeah, that was very confusing. What was the point of that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bad decision. But I thought it was fine. I liked it a bit more than you guys, but it does not belong in this list at all.
No.
In terms of Best Picture material, it's just a fine. It belongs on TV almost.
Yeah, it's kind of like a fucking TV movie, isn't it?
Yeah. No, it feels like it should be on TV. And you sit down, you watch it with the family, you have a laugh, you have a little cry maybe in the middle, and then you forget about it and you never think about it again. I'm never going
Exactly.
to think about this movie ever again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not Oscar material. It was so. There was nothing
It's
about
gonna
its
be forgotten
presentation, like its writing, any like filmmaking element that's supposed to be like rewarded at these events.
Exactly.
Is like that's what's so baffling to me about it.
Yeah.
It's all very standard, workmanlike. There was no like passion or creativity behind it, except from
Yeah.
I think Viggo Mortensen. I think he was.
Well, the two
he always
leads
does a
carry
great
it.
job.
Yeah, there was
Yeah,
some good
but-
acting in it, but that's about it.
Yeah. And Marshall Ali's good too, but he doesn't carry it like
Yeah, I
Vigo
agree with
does.
you.
And his
And
character's
I
really
think
weak
Vigo does a great
too.
job.
I don't even think it's Marshall's fault.
Yeah. His character is kind of annoying.
Annoying in what sense?
I don't
Just out
know.
of curiosity.
Yeah, it's just
There's no subtlety.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the characters aren't characters anymore, and they're just there to serve as a purpose for, I guess, the point that they're making, but they just keep driving home
Or
the same
jokes.
point over and over and over again. So it's like we just
like with the fried chicken.
exactly,
He was like,
exactly.
I need
like
to eat it with a
that,
fork and knife.
and
Like, it's
the
like, no,
Aretha Franklin
you know
scene,
you don't eat fried chicken with a fork and
and
knife.
just like they don't feel like real people. And I swear to God, you could watch a 10-minute chunk of this film anywhere in the middle, and you have seen the whole movie. You've literally seen the whole movie because it's just the same shit happening over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing new that they do with it. They just drag it on longer and be like, well, that's a movie. Like, fuck off. Like, it's so incredibly predictable, and just it's nothing. I could have just watched nothing instead.
I didn't hate it. I didn't think it was like nothing or unbearable. It was just, by the end of it, I was like, all right, so what? That was Best Picture worthy? It's like if Old Man and the Gun won Best Picture or something. Like, just some really bland movie you're going to forget about.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just fine. I thought it was totally fine, slightly above average.
I wouldn't even say slightly above average.
No, because if it was really as dull and predictable and had nothing going for it, then I would have been bored. But I can't say I was bored. I did find it repetitive, and there are plenty of aspects of it that were making me groan in terms of how cheesy it was, because goddamn, the film is cheesy at
That's
points.
the only thing that kept me from being bored, was groaning at it and being annoyed. That's the only thing that kept me from being bored.
Did you guys laugh? Did you think it was funny?
Yeah,
it was
a
kinda
couple
funny at
parts
times,
were.
but...
I laughed a couple of times.
Unintentionally, but
No, this... You
No, I
didn't have
laughed a
some
few times
intentional
because
laughs?
it felt like it did feel like a comedy at points. It felt like a real toned down comedy. Because we've already mentioned it. It felt very much like structurally like a comedy, like they've made in the past. It's really similar to it.
But it's not quite... It's like they didn't really think about the tone of it before making it. So it's like this weird hybrid of Oscar drama and like a comedy made by the Dumb and Dumber guy. Like there's no control. You don't get the sense that the director actually has a control of what tone he wants and what he's going for. And yet,
They just go for whatever's cheapest and easiest, and like you know.
There's gonna be a lot of people who say though this movie was fun and that
that's fine.
You know, we're just haters. Yeah,
we are just haters.
I'm glad you enjoyed it, but God, I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe my expectations were so low that I just wasn't as annoyed or upset by it as you
They
were.
were low. Mine were high because it won the Oscar. And
Mine were
every dad
exceptionally
ever
low.
told me it's the best movie ever.
Everyone everywhere is hating on this movie, and the Sardonicast Reddit treats this movie as if it's like Suicide Squad tier. So I was going in expecting like something really bad, but I just thought it was fine, and I'm never going to think about it again.
Mm-hmm. It's one of the worst Best Picture winners, I think, I've seen in a while.
It's just such a boring, bland, unspecial choice when this is an event that should be rewarding craft and like creativity and achievements, right? Not just like, hey, you farted something out. Cool. Like, congratulations.
Doesn't push any boundary.
I hope this choice doesn't offend anybody. Somebody posted a link on my subreddit. Apparently, there was an Academy voter that was interviewed, and he said that they said, basically the word on the street with Academy voters was that they were not favorable of Roma because of the Netflix thing. And apparently...
That doesn't surprise me.
Since Netflix had this huge budget allocated towards the For Your Consideration campaign and all these like fancy, champagne dinners and ceremonies and shit. And apparently Academy voters were like, nah, we can't let Netflix think that they can buy an Oscar. And all I'm thinking is like, this is what other studios do. Like,
that's all they've ever done. That's all it is.
This is the fucking process. Like you've proved forever that people can buy Oscars. That's the whole
It's all
fucking
bought.
thing. That's why people
So they
do these
voted out Spite.
campaigns. Yeah.
The same 6 studios always win.
Did you see Steven Spielberg's comments on
Yeah.
Netflix recently? He's like, they shouldn't
That
even
pissed
be
me off.
allowed to be nominated for Oscars. What a fucking old fart. They watch them on
Gatekeeping
Cool, make this
special
TV
beautiful
award.
because
movie.
they have DVD screeners. It's on TV anyway. All right? They don't watch these movies in theaters anyway. What's the fucking difference, you idiot?
It's because
Oh my
Steven
God.
Spielberg doesn't want Netflix to take over because everyone watches everything on Netflix now.
It's the death
Yeah.
of cinema.
And they don't go to see his shitty movies.
Wah. Nobody saw
Doesn't
the
count.
BFG because they were watching Netflix. Wah. Fuck off, Steven
Did
Spielberg.
people tune into this one though? Have there been word on the view?
It was slightly higher than last year's. It was like a
Slightly
jump
higher.
in by I don't know. I forget the exact percentage. It was
Yeah,
Not a
jump.
huge
It's because
jump.
people wanted to see. They wanted to see how much of a disaster it was going to be because they had no host and there was so much controversy around it.
yeah.
So much.
True. Yeah.
It was
yeah.
still one of the
It was
lowest
probably
years
one of the
ever.
more controversial ones.
I think it's like the 3rd lowest year ever. I don't know.
Because who could take this seriously anymore?
I think people
We all
just
see
don't
What's the point of
give a
it?
shit about the Oscars anymore, which is great.
I think people just want to watch it to see people get embarrassed. I mean, I feel kind of bad for Mahershala Ali because he's just an actor, and now he's involved in this whole Green Book controversy.
I don't think anybody blames him for them picking Green Book.
No,
Like, have people been harassing him? Like, what do you mean?
I don't know.
Okay.
Probably.
Well, maybe there's a bit. Of guilt by
Everyone's probably
association,
being
I don't know.
harassed.
I don't. Okay, I'm not sure about that. I think most people are
Yeah.
happy with Mahershala winning. I don't know. Like, people didn't complain about the
No,
performance.
Green Book winning Best Picture.
Whatever.
I think
No
they
one
all
cares
gotta
enough
do
to even
it.
like. put
No
up
one
a
cares
flag
enough.
anyway.
None of people.
Yeah,
see
it's
Yeah.
already done.
So what would have been your pick for Best Picture?
The favorite.
Yep.
Mine would have
Same
been Black Panther.
For biggest funny, yeah, that would have been great.
like
I would
for
have loved that.
for
yeah.
Best Picture at the Academy Awards. This does not mean my favorite movie of the year, but I think it would have been the best
Okay.
win for Best Picture at the Academy Awards because we would get so many good memes.
Oh, I
Man.
agree. Yeah, I changed my answer.
I've seen a few memes of
Black
the
Panther?
Bohemian Rhapsody win already for editing. They're great.
Yeah.
I just want more memes. That's what I care about. Fuck the Academy.
Yeah.
Oh man, embarrassing.
Embarrassing. is
Fucking
right.
embarrassing.
So what'd you think of Red Dead 2?
Oh, we're going back to Red Dead 2?
No, I don't know. I think are we done talking about the
It's just-
Oscars? It's,
I think so.
done, man.
I mean, it's just so.
Another year for the books.
But
Said
we
everything we
still
wanna
talk
say.
about it every year, though.
I know, but
No.
I don't know. There's important conversations to be had about this, I think.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, about snubs, and it's just annoying because it could be used to such great effect. Like, it could be a way of spreading the love of film in a genuine way.
It
could
has
be
been in the
introducing
past.
new
It's
films.
just recently.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Recently, I feel it's been very disingenuous and biased.
well, now like every single fucking choice they do is about politics and ratings and that's it. Right? Like
Yeah.
how many fucking things did they try to do where it was like, "Oh yeah, we're going to change the Oscars. Please watch us again." And then people were pissed off and they were like, "Oops, I guess we're not going to do that one." That was like 5 different
Yeah.
things. It's like, what do you actually even care about at this point? Like, have some fucking principles. If you don't give a shit about the cinematography award, then don't have it in there. Otherwise, you should have it in there if you care about ratings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe they were going to get rid of the cinematography award this year because Alfonso Cuarón won it, and they didn't want him to go up there again.
I
That
don't
might
know.
Be it.
I don't
But-
think. I have no idea.
I have no
They
idea.
make a bunch of
either. I don't
stupid
know what the fuck their
decisions,
plans are.
and it's just a big, annoying cringe fest.
If you can get far enough down the line where they're actually thinking about hiding the cinematography award in a film award
Yeah.
show, it's already too late.
They've lost all credibility.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
too fucking late.
Yeah. What an embarrassing organization at this point. Holy crap. Like, nobody
is.
likes the Oscars,
It's laughable.
including
Yeah.
Hollywood now. Fucking Alfonso, winner of several Oscars this year. He was chewing them out on
Shit all
Twitter
over
still.
it.
Like Guillermo and so many different people
Basically
are just
every big
shitting on the
director
Oscars
stepped in.
for good reason.
Yeah.
They're so detached and clueless. They have no fucking idea what normal people are like. And
They have no idea what good movies are anymore. I don't give a fuck if they know what normal people are like. I want them to pick some good goddamn movies to win awards.
I just want to
bunch
see
of
Jimmy
shit.
Kimmel.
Yeah, I want Jimmy Kimmel. I want Jimmy Kimmel back next year, and I want some good movies to win.
Quite honestly, the Oscars went by much smoother without a host.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
It was so much less painful from an entertainment perspective of watching the award show.
Although I
So
stepped
much
in and
smoother.
there were those comedians talking.
I know.
What are their names? It was Amy Poehler, right?
Yeah, there were some
Was it Amy
cringeworthy
Poehler?
moments, that's for sure, but not nearly as many.
Yeah.
Except maybe Bohemian Rhapsody winning Best Editing.
Well, at least we got the 420 awards to look forward to.
Woo!
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, boy. Daddy Derek. You show him. I'm gonna say it every fucking episode. People need to show up to that.
I'm actually
We need
really
footage.
tempted to go. I would love to go.
I would be scared. I'm like actually concerned about this man. I don't want to
Yeah,
be on his
I am
bad
too.
side and while he's packing, He's got a gun.
I'd
all
be
the
I'd be
time.
scared if you knew who I was, but if I could somehow sneak in under the radar, maybe do
Yeah.
a different accent. Because he doesn't know what I look like, so
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so.
Dye your hair and like put on a fake mustache.
why do I need to dye my hair if he doesn't know what I look like?
It's just, for the fun of it. Play a character.
Go there looking like Jared Leto's Joker.
You should wear your Alex the Lion fursuit.
Yeah, that's it.
Your
might hunt me.
Madagascar.
There was some
Suit.
good Madagascar fan art. On
Yeah,
the
shout out
a
to the
lot.
Madagascar fan art.
Yeah.
So much of it, and it's all
Shout
great.
out to the fan art.
Yeah, maybe we'll start this episode with those.
Yeah.
Just Madagascar fan art.
I got a bunch. So last episode, I recommended a movie, and that movie is The Celebration. Festen is the title, if you're Danish, I guess. This is a spoiler discussion. If you haven't seen the movie, you probably should. You should watch the movie. Come back and listen to us talk about the movie. If you don't
Watch
want
it
to
with
be
the
spoiled.
family.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Green Book. Whole family can enjoy.
I guess this is the part where I'm supposed to describe it. I don't really want to describe the whole thing. I guess this is a spoiler discussion anyway. So, family is showing up for the, I guess, father figure character's birthday. It's his 50th birthday. Recently, there was a suicide in the family. It's not revealed yet to be. It's slowly revealed over the course of the film that it's a suicide. The sister's dead, and there are 3 siblings left. And over the course of the evening, you can see that one sibling is getting visibly less comfortable until he reveals that the father raped him and his sister, the dead one, as children, and that he's responsible for the sister's suicide. And so the whole film goes on, and it's a very interesting, stressful, emotional, very well-made, well-written film, in my opinion. But the presentation's a little weird. It's a Dogma 95 film, which means that there are certain restrictions on what you can do to present your film. And I guess we'll get into that. I don't want to talk for too long. What did you guys think about it?
I loved it. I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty awesome.
I thought it
Awesome.
was excellent.
Glad you
I'm
liked
glad
it.
you mentioned the Dogma 95 because the style worked really well for this movie.
Yeah.
We talked about another Dogma 95 movie before, Dancer in the
Dancer
Dark.
in the Dark, wasn't it?
right?
Yeah, yeah.
No. It's not a Dogma movie, but we
Oh,
brought
no?
it into the conversation because the scenes.
That's right, yeah.
The scenes that were not the musical scenes, like the handheld, those felt Dogma-esque, but not even Dogma
Yeah.
believes that that Dancer in the Dark is a Dogma 95
Sure.
film. It would
Okay.
break
But
way
it was
too many
definitely
of the rules, and it was
influenced
never
by-
intended to be that kind of film.
Yeah, it was hugely influenced by Dogma 95. It has a lot of the same stuff as a Dogma 95.
Von Trier is one of the two people that created the manifesto. So him and Thomas Vinterberg. And so The Celebration is the first Dogma 95 film. Von Trier's The Idiots is the second one. And so those were the two that kind of like simultaneously released to create this kind of film movement, which I guess we should probably explain for the audience that didn't watch our Dancer in the Dark episode. I'm just going to bring it up on Wiki real quick because there's it has the whole list of their manifesto here. So basically, in, I guess, 1995, who would have thought, Thomas Vinterberg and Von Trier and later, some other Danish filmmakers kind of joined. But they started this manifesto where the whole point was to, I guess, kind of encourage the idea of setting restrictions on the films that you make, because out of restrictions can come some really interesting and genuine ways of presenting your film. So if you remove the manipulative technical aspects like fancy editing and fancy titles and soundtrack and music and lighting and camera quality, if you break those down and take them away from your film, then you're left to focus on the writing, the performances, and they believed that this would help bring out some sort of unique or interesting or purposeful films in that sense. And so I guess here are the rules that they created. And this, it's not like, oh, all of movies have to be this way. It was just kind of like a thought experiment in a sense. 1, shooting must be done on location. Props and sets must not be brought in. If a particular prop is necessary for the story, a location must be chosen where this prop can be found. 2, the sound can never be produced apart from the images or vice versa. Music must not be used unless it occurs where the scene is being shot. 3, the camera must be handheld. Any movement or immobility attainable in the hand is permitted. 4, the film must be in color. Special lighting is not acceptable. If there is too little light for exposure, the scene must be cut or a single lamp be attached to the camera. That's an interesting one. 5, optical work and filters are forbidden. 6, the film must not contain superficial action like murders, weapons, etc. must not occur. 7, temporal and geographical alienation are forbidden. That is to say that the film takes place here and now. 8, genre movies are not acceptable. 9, the film must be Academy 35mm. And 10, the director must not be credited. So that's all their rules right there. And that, I guess, should give you an idea of what the presentation of this film is like. So you're basically almost looking at kind of like a home movie quality thing. Like stop and start record if you could make a movie like that.
Yeah. That's why I thought Dancer in the Dark was one of them. One of the Dogma 95
Oh yeah,
ones. Also the way they used
like
the style, this style was very different. Like Von Trier in that used it to contrast like the classic Hollywood movies he was kind of mocking.
Yeah.
And here they use it like what you were saying to make it all seem more naturalistic. And I think the way this film is shot just adds a whole another layer to it. It makes it feel much more real. I felt like I was watching real people throughout the whole thing. And it totally, I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, it makes it feel like a home video almost. You feel like you're one of the family members yourself sat there with a video camera kind of observing the horrible stuff that's going down. It totally engrosses you in the sort of dynamic and grounds the whole wackiness of the story and how extreme it goes. It does keep it level-headed, and it really does engross you into the places that it does go. I will say with how unique it is at first, it does take a few minutes to get used to it, but once you figure out where they're going with it and how it does really add to the film, it does improve the experience a lot. I will say there were a couple, maybe 2 or 3 instances where it did kind of bug me, and it kind of pulled me out of the movie because it was achieving the opposite effect to me, where it was reminding me that it was in fact a movie. And it was a sort of a high point of tension, and I was really into the story, and it kind of bugged me just with the way it was all to do with sound. I think there was like a weird cut, and the sound just sounded totally like it was from a different moment in time, and it was like not too keen on that. But it was such a minor thing compared to the artistry that went into putting together most of the other sequences in the movie, which for the most part are pretty flawless, including I was reading some of the trivia. In the sequence where the main character kind of gets dizzy and falls over, they do a little trick with the microphone they spin it round in the air to give the audio that strange effect to kind of add to the dizziness thing, because they're not allowed to do any sort of audio work in post. So it does force them to be creative. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, what I find interesting about the audio in particular is if every bit of audio is produced with the images alongside them, obviously you're going to get a lot of, when a scene cuts, you're going to hear the audio cut in some way. Not every single time. Sometimes it's going to be more noticeable than others. But what I find interesting about that is not only did I get used to it very quickly, once it's like a part of the film and it's like, oh, this is like the whole movie, it's not really that distracting anymore. But I also thought about the fact that, like, when you're doing things like the dinner table scenes and there's like an entire crowd of people talking, not only is it a bit more effortful to actually have all of the extras talking and having their own independent conversations in the room, but it also kind of fixes other issues that films that do that kind of thing in post get so often. Because one of my pet peeves when it comes to films is when there are characters in a loud environment, whether it be a bar or even like this family dinner scene where there's supposed to be a lot of crowd chatter, they film the scene in complete silence and just get the actors to talk. But it seems like 99.9% of the time, not even kidding, like almost every film ever, whenever they film a scene like this, they forget to have the actors talking louder than normal. They forget that the environment is supposed to be loud and that they'll add in the loud environment in post. So then you just have like, you have a club scene and there's all this like bassy music, like party and crowds screaming, but the characters are talking at this volume to each other. The characters are just talking normally. It's like, that's not how it works, like the club scene in The Social Network, they were yelling at each other, and I was like, holy crap, there was a movie that actually considered that before adding the sound in post. Like, thank you, David Fincher. But there's so many, like, almost every single movie forgets to do that. And I found it interesting that was never the case with this film, because they actually had people talking. So the volumes of the characters were genuine because they had to be, otherwise they couldn't hear each other. I found that kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And let alone the technique, the performance and the actual story and the way it's gradually trickled out is so perfectly done, from the sort of slow start and you don't really know where it's going or what these reveals are even going to be. I had a sneaking suspicion what might be going on because of I'm a big fan of the director's other film, The Hunt. It's one of my favorite movies. Big fan of that movie, and
Have you seen it, Ralph?
I thought there'd be more.
I have not.
Oh God, definitely check it out.
You haven't seen that one? I think it might be better than this.
Yeah,
movie,
I think The Hunt is better. Everybody check out The Hunt.
Yeah.
2009?
Yeah, for sure.
No, it's later. 2012 or something.
I think so. 2012. Okay.
Somewhere around there.
There are elements of this family that feel so realistic, as you said, Ralph. Like you see elements of if you guys have like a big family and know what that dynamic is like, there's certain characters that you can see reflected and the kind of things you would experience. And about 36 minutes in, when the bomb is dropped at that amazing scene where he reveals with he makes the dad choose from the two scripts, and he chooses the green one, which is like the truth script or whatever. Then it just really adds to the whole. It is a spiral from then on, just watching the family totally collapse, because at the beginning they're a whole, and by the end they're pretty fragmented. So there's like a real arc with the whole family. It plays
on the fear of something going wrong at a family reunion.
Whenever
I go to a family event, I just hope that nothing goes wrong and that no one fights with each other. And this is like the worst nightmare case scenario. What could happen? And that's why I found it so entertaining and funny.
It's kind of stressful.
Too, because although this doesn't sound like a comedy, I did find it has a very dry, very dark sense of humor. But I did find it very funny.
It is listed as a black comedy in many places, so.
And that's a lot to do with the execution, too. Just any other director handling the subject matter would not play it like a comedy. But he does, and it works.
Yeah, it makes it more realistic, too.
The slow burn of it, too, where that reaction where the family, after that first reading of that script where he reveals the truth, no one really reacts properly. They're just like, oh, he must be joking.
Yeah, because
how
how
do
do
you
you
react
fucking
to that?
believe that? Like, what the fuck
I
would
love
you
that.
do? Right?
Exactly, yeah, that's exactly what people are like. Whereas in a more typical movie, maybe they would have all started screaming and there'd be a
Yeah.
fight and it would be like the most expected thing ever. But that's what helps it feel just so genuine and real and so sort of intimate with the family.
There's just this awkward silence mostly, and they just keep ignoring the horrific shit that is being said. This happens multiple times where the guy comes in and starts telling the stories, and everyone just goes, "Oh, let's go to the next room, everybody. Don't worry
It's
about
skin
it."
crawling.
Yeah, and I mean, like, it's a fascinating study of just how denial can play on people, because
Yeah.
you know, if you've known someone your whole life, it's like their 50th birthday, they're a family member, and every experience you've had with them has been positive, and it's like, okay, like, you know, you think you know a person. You know, there are pedophiles that exist. They're probably like nice people outside of raping kids. Who knows? Like, there are people that are able to get away with this kind of shit because nobody would believe that they would do such a thing, and it's difficult to. You know, it's people don't want to believe it, and you can tell the family itself is just like they don't want to believe it because it's a horrible thing to have to come to terms with, especially in your own family. Like, holy fuck.
I found the wife's reaction very interesting too.
Oh yeah.
Because she's kind of on the sidelines this whole time, and she probably knew what was going on and never said anything. So she's just kind of quiet.
Denial, man.
Yeah. And I you know, was just a lot of shots of her face just staring silent. She's a great actress, so I got a lot from her facial expression. But
Yeah, there's that scene where she has her own speech, which is all these backhanded compliments to all her kids, and it's like, look at you. You're a monster. You're just as bad as him because of like what he's made you do and how you've reacted to this, and you've like chosen him over your own kids. It's really disturbing in a lot of ways.
Yeah, just keeping the lie going.
I mean, there's people that exist like that because it's like,
exactly.
I don't know, like she's married to the fucking guy. Like, how the hell is she going to come to terms with that? I think most
your own
people
children.
are so dishonest. Well, not most people. I think there's a lot of people that are just so dishonest and would be as much denial about the situation where they just pretend it isn't happening. Like, there's a lot of people that exist like that on the planet where they just hope something goes away. They saw something, like she walked in the room and he was like, get out, like as he was fucking the kid.
Like he saw
and like that moment, just imagine what she must have done in her own mind to like ignore that, to like compartmentalize it,
suppress it,
like pretend it was a dream, or like, oh, he must have been doing something else. Like, what fucking lies would she have been telling herself? There are people like that exist.
The way she responded to that situation is very natural and realistic way that a lot of people would react to that. And a lot of wives have been in that situation where they have an abusive husband and they just choose to ignore it because it's easier. So
because you're married to the fucking guy, you know, like
you're married. You have this whole life with him. You have a house. You have a job. The second you acknowledge that truth, your whole life is over, and you have to like restart.
Exactly.
You have to get a new.
And people
you
don't
have to
want
move.
to.
It's like in what's the other movie we saw about pedophiles? Happiness.
Bohemian
Like the end
Rhapsody.
of that movie.
Yeah.
Bohemian.
You know, one thing I did find quite interesting about the whole setup is they don't make it entirely clear whether or not it's genuine at first, in terms of they kind of plant the seeds like he might actually be kind of crazy. He might be mentally ill. So you're left questioning for a while, hang on, is this movie doing a fast one on me? Is it trying to test like what I think people, you know, maybe are capable of, or who you side with based on accusations alone, or that kind of thing? But they do trickle it out in such a way where it's kind of a payoff, and you do feel vindicated by the end with where it goes, with how the family kind of rightfully falls apart because of it.
You're right there with the family. At first, you don't even believe it. You're like,
Exactly,
this can't be true. It can't be true. And then everyone laughs it off, and you're like, oh, okay, they laughed it off. It's probably fine. The guy's just crazy.
Yeah.
He's just crazy. And then 40 minutes later.
Just watching the mother when she delivers her speech, and half of it is just talking about like, oh yeah, well, he had an imaginary friend when he was younger, and he can't distinguish fantasy from reality, and just immediately just her goal is to just discredit this story.
Yeah.
And it's like, it makes so much sense. There's people that would do that, you know?
Yeah.
The father's reaction was very interesting too, where he first starts with the accusations and he doesn't like have this flip out or anything. He stays very calm and like brings him downstairs and they talk it out for a bit. It's like how a real family would handle this situation.
Yeah.
I don't remember doing that. You're crazy.
It's so fucked up. But then when he actually snaps towards the end and lets out that line that it was all you were good for.
Yeah.
That is like the true, okay, yeah, you're guilty.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went, whew. That was rough.
That was a rough moment. Yeah.
That's also just like a very realistic reaction in terms of like, okay, this person has been a lit fuse the whole fucking night, you know, like they're about to blow up at some point, and then that comes out, and it's obviously like, you know, his gut reaction is just like, I'm gonna make you feel like shit for what you've done to me at this moment, and that's all he's thinking, and then that comes out, and it's just like, holy fuck.
Well, that switch flips, and he becomes that monster that you've never really seen up to that point, and you're like, Jesus fuck, I didn't know this guy. And at the end, he comes back like a rational adult, and like, I know you will all hate me for what I have done. I am sorry, and then he walks out.
Victim
Which
now.
he's still a piece of shit, but it was so, you know,
that's a great scene.
In that character, it made sense.
I found there to be like a lot of really realistic dynamics between characters. The only character that I thought was like a bit cartoonish at times was the Nazi guy. I don't know if his real voice is like that. He sounded like he was constantly like barking. Like, it was a bit cartoonish for me at points, but otherwise it didn't really take too much away from me.
Yeah, I was okay with that.
I love the creative choice to have the opening and closing titles being shown through bathtub water written on the bottom of the bathtub. Not just because that looks cool and it's like, okay, so I'm not allowed titles because it's a Dogma 95 film, but that fits perfectly in line with the themes in the story.
Thematic,
because it's like, well, that was the location of the suicide. Like, she drowned herself in a bathtub. And so it makes perfect sense. It fits. It's very impactful. It's very like kind of like off-putting and disturbing in a good way. Love it.
Yeah. It sets the tone real well.
Everything's very intentional. One of my favorite sequences in the movie is the kind of treasure hunt moment where the sister goes into the room where the suicide happened, and she's kind of following these clues to get to the suicide note that no one had read before. But it's kind of intercut with these flashes of what you think is the sister in the bath, and it's just a really creative, like, well edited, well executed scene that I thought really stood out to me. Out of everything in the movie, that was my favorite sequence, probably.
It's a really well-made movie, despite the Dogma 95 style, so it's low quality. But, like, the editing is terrific, like you were saying. There's that scene Christian is running to the party, and he's, like, hopping over people and shit. That scene was really well edited. The great use of Dutch angles and depth of field. And really, he's a good director. I've never seen one of his movies, but I plan on checking more of his stuff out now.
Yeah, this was a good first movie to watch from him, and I would recommend The Hunt for sure. Should be your next one. Those are his two best easily.
Okay.
I haven't seen every movie, but
it kind of fits within the same theme too. They're almost like a double feature.
They're almost companion pieces, but in different ways.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's not say any more.
No.
When it comes to the Dogma 95 style, there are certain aspects of it, like I wasn't a huge fan of the kind of like dream sequence near the end, because that was a moment where I feel like that kind of takes away from the gritty, raw realism that we were experiencing the entire film. Because the Dogma 95, you know, as you said, it feels like you're watching someone's home movie in a sense, but now it's like, oh, am I watching someone's home movie of like a ghost or like a dream? You know, it was really weird. It was kind of creative. It's like, okay, he had a candle or something, and you know, like there's some creative choices in that sense. It's like, okay, this is interesting how you're trying to pull off kind of a flashy editing technique without it necessarily being one at all. But I mean, there are some aspects where it helped and some aspects where it didn't. I really enjoyed the spinning camera scene transitions. Those were really cool. Yeah, those could fit in any movie, Dogma 95 or not. And I mean, there's other movies that have done that, but for this, it felt really appropriate and fitting.
Yeah, it's one of those movies where it's so excellent and it achieves what it's going for so perfectly that aside minor quibbles and quabbles, I mean, what else is there to even really complain or go into, you know?
Yeah.
I would never watch it again, or at least not for a while, just
Yeah.
because
Really?
of how uncomfortable an experience it is.
All right.
Yeah.
I feel the opposite. I'd happily watch it again.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
I think this was my third
Yeah.
watch or something, but I hadn't seen it in so long. I needed a good refresher.
I think
Yeah.
I'd like it more a second time, to be
Oh, yeah,
honest,
me too.
I
'cause-
think I would too. Now that I know what I'm going into.
Exactly.
Exactly,
I'm
yeah.
gonna wait
It's
a
a
while.
great movie for a second watch. I was looking up the Wikipedia page for Dogma 95 when my roommates were asking about it after I showed them this film, and I laughed because under the tab for criticism, guess which film critic criticized the movement?
Roger Ebert?
Armand White.
Hey,
he
my boy.
My
Yeah.
man.
What's his issue with it?
American film critic Armand White criticized the movement, stating that it was the manifesto that brought filmmaking closer to amateur porn. He believed the movement would be rejected as insignificant by film historians, which, of course, is the exact opposite. Go Armand White.
It's all right, Armin. You keep it up.
Dunkirk was bad because it wasn't patriotic enough.
Oh, is that what he said?
Yeah. He bases all of his reviews on his own conservative political beliefs and nothing else. he doesn't know anything about whether or not the film was like well made. It's literally just like, does this align with my political views? Yes or no?
Oh, and he's a film critic on Rotten Tomatoes?
Yeah, he's a published film critic.
Oh, cool.
The best.
Very cool.
He's the reason why
Very
Moonlight doesn't
cool.
have 100%. He was the one for the one
Yeah.
rating. Gay movie.
Because there was no conservative.
Gross.
Yeah, gays? We don't make movies about gays.
This is
Get outta
is
here.
perverted. He's a funny guy.
We're getting closer to amateur porn.
Yeah, come on.
What a bizarre.
Why?
Did you
Because
even
it's
watch it?
shot on a shitty camera.
If the only Dogma film he watched was Von Trier's The Idiots, then I could almost agree with him.
Yeah.
And once you see that movie, you'll understand. It's not. It's interesting. It's definitely unique, but it is almost
All right.
amateur porn.
Oh, really?
Cool.
Certain
Kinda sounding
scenes
on it,
for
to be honest.
sure. Oh yeah, you can watch it. Let me know what you think. It's a very uncomfortable film.
Is that what all these Dogma films like do? They're just like, we're gonna make you really uncomfy.
Well, because this style works best for that. I mean,
Yeah,
it's a
what
really
else can you do?
ugly-looking movie. And here it's to show, like, there's this sinister underbelly to the family. Like, it's this normal reunion, but it kind of looks,
Well, it adds
Looks
the chaos
off.
too, because it's all handheld,
Yeah.
shaky. Yeah.
you know, shaky.
Perspective,
When they're,
yeah.
like, arguing, there's that scene they're arguing, and the camera's, like, just, you know, panning back and forth between them. It's very
Yeah.
frenetic. I love that.
I think that in terms of creating a story like this where you understand and you're aware of and you're purposefully creating these kind of limitations, not just on visual presentation, but in story especially, I think that this is just one of the best well thought out concepts that you could make for this. Really.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
I do too.
it's a perfect drama that focuses on the characters and performances at its core. And I believe that this was actually adapted into a stage production at one point, which totally makes
Oh,
sense.
cool.
Yeah.
Because
that
you could
is
easily
perfect
have
for
it as a play. But I think it works
But
very
this
well
doesn't
as a
feel like a
film, too.
play. That's a big
Yeah, it doesn't.
thing. Is
Yeah.
that this
But it
doesn't
could
feel like
be
a shitty play that they
Based
just
on script
adapted
alone
into
is
a
what I'm
movie.
saying.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Yeah.
It's just this isn't like Fences or anything where you're like, wow, it's like a play, but they recorded it. It's like a genuine film that uses location and sound
Yeah.
and everything to its ability. So
Yeah. I would like to see more movies that are told in an interesting way. You know, like Good
yeah.
Time
It doesn't
is...
have to be specifically Dogma 95. Just,
Exactly.
you know,
Good Time is a great example of this.
Limitations can make something
Yeah.
way more cool.
Yeah, having a unique style, because if it's consistent, and especially if it's purposeful too, it's like you can get used to it really quickly. Not every movie has to be
Yeah.
made the same way. Steven Spielberg.
No, we don't.
It's
make
too risky, though, isn't
Netflix
it?
doesn't count.
Like, people are too scared to try it because, I mean, you can see how this film could have gone wrong if they didn't have the material or the gumption to pull it off. So you can see why it scares filmmakers away. But it does pay off, though, if you can get it right.
Yeah. And it's also, I mean, part of the reason why Dogma 95 isn't a thing anymore is because, like, you can literally just film a movie on your iPhone now.
Everyone's
So,
making
like,
them.
back at one point, it was about purposefully making restrictions where, you know, the norm would be, okay, how do we prop this film up with, like, soundtrack and editing and blah, blah, blah? You know, how do we make up
Yeah.
for its shortcomings in the story, et cetera, et cetera. But now it's like any movie can do that, and it's not really a Dogma 95 movie anymore, but it kind of is.
It's like a whole new movement of
Yeah.
iPhone movies. Tangerine and Steven Soderbergh's making a few.
Yeah, oh yeah, Steven Soderbergh is a great example of that.
Unsane and his new movie too. That's why I love him. He'll do anything, all kinds of genres.
Have you seen Bubble?
No, I haven't.
That was an interesting Soderbergh movie.
I love
Very
his. The best thing he's ever done, I think, is The Nick.
Haven't
which
seen
is
that one.
show. It's fantastic. And what's his name? Cliff Martinez did the score. So it's like this 1900s period drama about a hospital, but it's got this like electronic score. It's awesome.
Oh, cool.
You should totally watch all of that.
All right, I guess we said everything we wanted to about this movie, right?
Yeah,
I thought it was
well,
really
gone
good.
through all my
I
notes.
give it a 4 out of 5.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
I thought it was excellent. Not quite as good as The Hunt, but it came close. It really won me over by the end. I gave it a 4.5 stars out of 5.
Nice. I give it a 9 out of 10. Great movie.
Nice.
Damn straight.
Love it. Time for questions.
Yeah.
It's question time.
Whee.
Although I do want to say, last thing on Dogma 95.
Sure.
I think the like philosophy behind that kind of thinking is like it's kind of more necessary and needed than ever now in terms of
Yeah,
like,
kind
big
of.
budget filmmaking, because look at the films that succeed best, and I keep jumping to in my head like Denis Villeneuve with Blade Runner and Arrival, and the decisions he made specifically with sort of special effects and how to use them, and applying limitations to it is they always look better that way. Whereas you know, you can clearly tell with a film like Aquaman or any of these stupid big blockbusters with infinite budgets that they never stop and think to maybe limit what they're capable of, because now you can do anything in a computer.
Exactly.
It's amazing how much CGI stifles creativity when you
Yeah.
think it would do the opposite.
When you can do anything.
I rewatched 2001 the other day, and there's that split screen or the split scan effect at the end, you know, where it's like all the colorful bars
Oh, yeah.
going
Yeah,
through. And it's all
Crazy.
done practically, of course, because it's
Yeah.
1960. And yet I've never seen anyone with a computer make something look that cool or create a concept
Exactly.
that looks that interesting. Like it's
makes
just
it
something
timeless.
about doing it practically. It always has a feel, and it feels real.
It's like
Yeah, I wish they would do that.
computer animation is essentially just outsourcing scenes of your film in a sense. It
Yeah.
can be. I think a lot of directors just basically do it that way.
And once you have the eye for it, it just ruins movies too. Like
It does.
you just see
Because
how
it's
fake
always
it looks.
noticeable.
Yeah, no, it's
Not
totally
always.
noticeable.
You can't say always, because when you don't notice it, you don't know.
Yeah.
David
That's
Fincher's
true.
good at
I will
hiding
take
it.
that
We
back.
mentioned him earlier, but he's got a visual effects background, so he knows how to do it properly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
There are tons of visual effects everywhere in a lot of movies that you would never even expect. Have I
Oh,
ever
yeah,
told you
yeah.
about the demo reel for the animation company that worked on The Wolf of Wall Street? They showed like a clip of all the effects they did in that movie. It's like, oh wow, I didn't even know there were effects
Oh
in that
yeah.
scene.
There's a lot.
yeah, no, that one has a bunch, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You're not kidding. Every movie has tons. I mean,
Mm.
even Lover. Lover's a fucking $10,000 movie. There's tons of tons of visual effects are in that movie. Tons.
Yeah.
Like erasing shadows and fucking boom poles in the shot that we had to erase.
Nice.
There's stuff like that all the time. It's just part of making a movie. But
Mm-hmm.
still, that doesn't mean you should just put the actor in a green screen
Yeah.
room and fucking make everything later. Because it's not going to look good.
Yeah,
Assholes.
that's the issue.
It's the difference between touching something up and just, you know, replacing what the scene could have been.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, let's do some questions. We've got some good ones. We've got some good ones this episode. Before we go into them, though, head over to the Sardonicast Reddit if you want to leave your own for us to answer in subsequent episodes. Let's start off with one from Tunisian. Where do you see Sardonicast in a year? considering we are just slightly over the 1-year anniversary of Sardonicast. It's been a year, apparently, guys.
I know,
Yeah.
right? It has been a
God
year. We
damn.
started with the
Anniversary,
Oscars.
everybody.
The Oscars was our first episode, so
That's true, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right.
it's crazy.
And Cloverfield.
Yeah,
And the
Cloverfield
Cloverfield
Paradox.
Paradox, yeah. Everyone remembers that one.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. That's. I'll just
I
write
mostly
it
just
out.
wanted to
We'll
say
see
it
what
because of
happens.
the acknowledging that it's been a year thing.
Yeah.
I could see me being replaced by Jeremy Johns, but that's it.
Who told you?
Can't hide it from me, Adam. I know you're looking for a new host, a new co-host. Jeremy Johns or the CinemaSins guy, right? Those are the two you're considering.
Yeah, I mean,
Son of a bitch.
I see us having more guests. I feel like the podcast works really well even without guests. Like, this isn't really a guest-centered podcast, but I would like to see
Yeah,
some more
I like it
people
without
For
show
sure.
up and
Yeah.
just to have some people on every once
Well,
in a while.
when we
Doesn't need
have
to be a
guests, it's
constant
very
thing.
casual.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very casual when we have guests on. We just talk about the movies like we normally would.
Yeah.
So
When other people aren't around, we bicker, we fight. Fight
yeah,
to the
we
death.
fight a little more.
It's a good friend fight, you know.
Yeah, it's friendly. Yeah, we're not serious. Yeah, after the podcast, I cry to myself. All right, bye guys. See you.
Yeah, I don't
Rest
know.
of the day.
It's difficul for me to answer
Yeah,
a question.
I
of,
can
like,
never answer this question. This type
where
of
are we
question.
gonna be in a year?
Like,
I don't know. I could die. Like, you don't know
Yeah,
what's gonna
anyone else
happen.
could die.
Yeah.
Just live in the moment.
I could win the lottery. I don't know.
Let's try to get Alex Jones as a guest. Let's make that the New Year's resolution.
Ooh, what's his favorite
Alex
movie?
Jones or Alex Jones? I don't know. What do you think?
Probably something by like Sanjay Gupta.
Okay.
Or wait, I thought of the wrong person.
We'll leave it there. Alex Jones' favorite film is something from Sanjay Gupta. Great.
Man, I totally flubbed the person. That's not even who I wanted to talk about. Now I don't even know his name. Dinesh D'Souza. Dinesh D'Souza. That's
his
who
name?
I meant. Yeah.
Well, who the fuck is that?
Just a guy that makes propaganda.
Oh, okay.
Sanjay Gupta is like
Okay.
like a medical expert on CNN or something.
Yeah, I was wondering. I'm like, why do you? Okay.
I don't know why I confused the two names.
Okay, let's move
Anyway.
on to a question from S Destroyer V. What's the most offensive movie you've ever seen? I've got quite a good answer that's relevant to
I mean,
this.
I gotta
very
go with
episode.
Birth of a Nation. So
Birth of a Nation.
yeah, the old one, the one from the 30s, the one that's like the pro KKK movie. You know, they show in Black Klansman, right?
They show a lot of things in that movie, don't they? At the end,
Yeah.
I can't remember.
There's a scene in Black Klansman. They're watching it. That's a very offensive movie. So do not watch Birth of a Nation unless you want to be a film historian.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
My choice feeds back into the. It was actually created by the now Best Picture winner, writer and director of Green Book. Movie 43. You seen that, Jem?
Oh,
You seen
God.
that comedic masterpiece?
I've seen some
I've
of it.
seen
I fucking hate that film. I fucking despise that film.
Yeah.
That is an actual like offensive, insulting comedy. I cannot stand that movie.
I love how
hate
it
that
came
film
to
so
be.
much. It feels like they have something on all these celebrities. Like they've got blackmail on them all, and they force them to be in this comedy. That's honestly how it
They
feels.
basically tricked everybody to
Yeah.
be in it, right?
Because it's like
Really?
you get like a 5-minute segment. All you need is one Hollywood star to say yes, and they'll be like, oh, whatever, it's just a 5-minute, fuck it. Like, it's a paycheck,
Yeah.
whatever.
They got,
and
I
then
think,
once
Hugh
you have
Jackman
one
first.
Hollywood star, then you're like, we have Hugh Jackman in our movie. And then somebody else is going to be like, oh, I want to be in the same movie as Hugh Jackman. And then when you've got more and more celebrities in it, then more and more celebrities will want to be in it. And so that's basically just how it happened. It was a big ruse. It was a big trick.
God damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my pick. God.
When I think of movies that like offend me, it's either going to be for, I guess, one of two reasons. One of them could be like it's a American remake and they just completely missed the point. Like Spike Lee's Old Boy was just fucking offensive to me. It's like, what? You don't even respect the original movie at all, do you? Like, what movie did you fucking watch? You know, when you put this piece of garbage out.
The Last
offensive
Airbender
to
has
me.
that too. Night's Last Airbender movie.
Other things that are offensive to me in films can be like if it has a very unintentionally twisted sense of morality where you take a character that through all reasonable measurement is a total gigantic piece of shit and then pretend like as though they're supposed to be sympathetic. You know, like Chloe in Life is Strange. Like, this is a terrible person. This is a terrible person. Why the hell are you pretending as though we're supposed to relate to and care about and love this character as though she does good things? You know, there was like there was a Criterion movie called Heart of a Dog where like I can't even remember all the specifics to it, but I remember watching that and being like, holy fuck. The person that made this movie is like a manipulative asshole, and it's so weird how it's presented because it's like they never acknowledge it. What's a recent one that came out? That Melissa McCarthy one? What was it called?
Oh, Can You Ever Forgive Me?
Can You Ever Forgive Me? Like, she's a total asshole. She's a piece of shit. She basically like killed her cat. Like, why are we supposed to feel sorry for this person?
Oh,
She killed her cat.
They do it. They do it in another one of her comedies. Identity Thief.
That
was a really good example of that.
Identity Thief.
Yeah, I fucking
That
hate that
character
film.
is the most unlikable little bitch I can fucking.
Yeah, but they want
hate
you to-
that character.
Yeah, no,
and
exactly,
they pretend
yeah.
like, oh, she had a bad childhood. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Bad
I expect
childhood.
you to feel sympathy for
Yeah.
her. Nah,
Right.
not on.
Those are some things that
so
offend me.
unlikable.
I mean, if the movie's good either way, then sure, but usually they're not. if they're doing shit
Yeah.
like that.
Right, because then they just have poorly written characters.
Oh,
Yeah.
Speaking of, what was it called? Life is Strange.
Yeah.
We have a question from Pirate Disco King YT, who says, do you believe that a good film adaptation of a video game is possible? When adapting from a short story, novel, or play, you're bringing to life a character by representing them with an actor on screen. But is it possible to make a film version of Lara Croft or Nathan Drake, for example, that isn't just an inferior copy? Also, is there any joy to be found seeing characters on screen doing the things you've done yourself in a game?
No. I am 100% convinced it can't be done.
I'm not.
And no
I'm
one
not
has done
convinced.
it. I'm totally convinced. Well, did you see the Uncharted live-action short?
I forget.
They
Probably.
made
Nathan Fillion,
they made a
yeah.
live-action
Oh, yeah.
short of Uncharted. I think it's unofficial. It might be. I don't know what it is.
It is unofficial, yeah. It's like a fan
Point
project.
is, it was bad because the whole time I kept thinking that's not Nathan Drake, that's not Sully, and like just the idea of translating a video game, which is a completely different like medium, into a movie. I just don't think it works, and it never has worked unless you somewhat like if you take the interesting world of a video game, like let's say Fallout, and make it into a movie. Like set in that
Oh yeah,
world,
like the
maybe that would
universe
work.
with different characters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like you could
set in the
easily do that
Skyrim
for Mass
universe,
Effect.
set in the Mass Effect universe.
Yeah.
But the idea of translating a story or a character into a movie, it's not going to work. It's never
Yeah.
worked.
I would love to see a movie
People
in
don't
the
like
Halo universe, but I don't think that Master
Exactly,
Chief is
yeah.
a very compelling character. He's
No,
intentionally
Nolan
he's
North
designed-
is Nathan
Yeah.
Drake. It's a performance.
He's
He
intentionally
fucking
a
does
blank
the mocap
slate.
for him too.
Well, yeah, it's like this weird circle where video games get all their cinematic like inspiration from movies already. So
Yeah.
taking it back to being a movie is like reductive, and taking it, it's like boiling it down in something it shouldn't be. I do agree with the certain worlds are prime for kind of more exploration in terms of stories, but when you're just adapting characters like, God, there was that time where they were going to do like a Gears of War movie, a Halo movie, a BioShock
Yeah.
movie, all of these franchises and things known for their characters, right? And you can't straight adapt it because no one's going to do it justice, and it's always going to be distracting and confusing and bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like they're planning a Last of Us movie and an Uncharted movie, which I
Yeah.
think are
It's like,
two.
what are they going to do?
really
with
Last of
that?
Us
How are
doesn't
you going to
need
make
to be
a
a
Last of
movie.
Us movie?
Yeah.
What are
The
they
Last
going
of
to
Us
do?
already
They're
is
just
gonna
going
be
to
less
remake The
effective.
Last of Us? Yeah.
It needs to be long. Like the Last of Us is already like a mini series, you know, with like cinematic cutscenes already, with great performances, and there's nothing that making a 2-hour movie would improve from that material at all.
No,
Yeah.
nothing. Do you think a television show from a video game would work?
Like a miniseries?
Because they're making like The Witcher. The Witcher with Henry Cavill is coming out.
I'm not convinced
Do you think that would work?
Even a film could never work. I would never say that it's impossible. I would like to see it done. I don't think it really has been done. But I would never say it's impossible, whether you're talking about a movie or a miniseries.
I cannot name a single video game movie I like. And there have been some talented people who have tried and failed. And like, I just
They're
don't
so
know.
restrictive. They're so restrictive
really
when they're working within already existing like characters and things. Like I tried watching that Assassin's Creed movie from a few years ago.
Yeah.
Unwatchable. It's just nauseating. And the same
That's
with that
funny.
Tomb Raider movie that came out like last year, whatever it was. What's the point?
Yeah. Oh, I saw that Hitman movie because I love Hitman. I saw
Yeah.
the original and the new one, Hitman Agent 47. They were both fucking awful, and they totally missed the point of the game. So I don't know. These
Well,
games too, some of them. Like, how do you make Hitman into a movie? Hitman's a fucking literally a block of wood. He's a person. He has no personality. He's just a hired killer. And you're gonna make a movie about him? What is he gonna do?
I think that part of the problem is that these are very successful intellectual properties, but they're from a different medium. So you've got a lot of money behind it. You're going to get a studio that is not going to give it to somebody who's actually passionate about the project. They're going to hire a random director for it. You know, they're going to be like, oh, you make movies that make money. Here, I'll toss this to you. But chances are that director is not going to have any sort of familiarity with not only like the medium of video games itself, but probably the actual game itself. They're not going to understand what makes it special, why people like it. Because they're separate industries, right? They're completely separate. And although there are elements
And you
of
have
each
different
industry
writers.
to be found, you know, in both, it's still just I don't think that there's a huge amount of crossover. And it would have to be somebody's like actual passion project. The closest that we got to that was I think maybe the Silent Hill movie, where the guy was like fighting for so long, like, please give me the rights, I want to make a Silent Hill movie. And even though it wasn't great, it wasn't like a great movie, there's definitely faithful elements to the film adaptation.
Yeah, that's
It
probably
doesn't-
the best one.
That's
I can
one of the
think
better
of.
ones. Yeah.
And that's because it was a guy that really, really wanted to make a Silent Hill movie because he loves Silent Hill.
That one and Warcraft, because I think Duncan Jones really
still
wanted to
haven't
make
seen that.
Warcraft.
I've seen
not
it.
a good movie, but you could tell he gave a fuck about the world and everything. Like all that's very
Yeah,
developed.
it feels like
It's
one of
just
those
a bad
movies made for the fans type deal, where
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you have no clue what's going on if you're not familiar with that world at all. Like it's pretty deep in that universe.
There are 2 Life is Strange fan films on YouTube. I know you already know my opinion on the games. I think that they're cringeworthy
love
as
'em.
shit and terrible. But the fan films are like the game. It's like the same
Really?
thing. Like the characters are the same, you know, like the environments are the same. It's like this is the
Oh
most
my God.
accurate, faithful adaptation I've ever seen towards a video game ever. And it's like it's a fan film with kind of terrible audio and camera and acting, but like so's the game. You know, like the game's terrible. You know, like everything about the
So
game
it's
is
very
terrible.
faithful.
And so it's like I'm watching the game. Like I've never seen anything like it. Like I'm not
Are
even
they worth
kidding. Like I
playing,
gave
though?
it a thumbs up and I subscribed. I'm like, damn son, this is like I'm watching the game.
Are they worth playing though for that element of how bad they are?
If you are a fan of the Life is Strange universe, whether ironically or not, you should watch these fan films.
Really?
But you have to, I mean, if you don't know anything about Life is Strange, then you might just be watching a random movie with a bunch of high school 20-year-old people acting, and it might not give you anything if you're not already invested in the Life is Strange universe like I am.
You don't want to see a Life is Strange movie then?
I think it's going to happen anyway. I think they're planning like a TV show or movie or something.
Really?
They're
Yeah, I
always
think they're
planning
planning
these
like a
things.
real-
They never happen.
Exactly,
They were
who
planning that
knows?
Halo movie forever, and then Neil Blomkamp just made something else. It's
Well,
never
they're
gonna
actually
happen.
doing a Halo TV show now. Like Showtime has it booked in.
Oh.
They're shooting it. Yeah, did you not know about this?
Yeah, I keep forgetting.
No, yeah, they're doing a series, and it's supposed to be, not my words, but they describe it as their Game of Thrones type thing. But they're going to have to compete with this Star Wars TV show, which will have, better special effects, bigger budget, and
we'll see.
Yeah,
I really like
we'll see
Neil
about that one.
Blomkamp's shorts that he made for the Halo franchise.
Yeah, they're great.
Those were awesome.
He's someone who's good with visual effects. Yeah,
And but those are short. Again, like when you make a 2-hour movie, you gotta care about the characters, and I don't know if that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So,
Spacey Fork says, "What is one thing that y'all find odd about each other's countries?"
I find it weird that Americans complain about the title of The Favorite, even though that's how you're supposed to spell it.
Oh, damn,
that's it. That's the only complaint you have about Americans?
I mean, there's plenty of... I mean, how long do you want me to talk? There's a lot of weird shit. There's a lot of weird shit about your country and about everyone. I mean, it's just cultural differences, really. But it's like, why did you get rid of the letters in certain words? Why don't you... look at a map of the countries that use Fahrenheit and Celsius. Look at a map of the countries globally that use the metric system and imperial. Like, what the hell is up with America? Why is it so stubborn?
Because we're fucking pricks. What, are we going to change it for you?
Everybody in the world.
It's been this way forever. It's been this way for 200 years. It's not my fault. I learned inches and feet. So I measure everything in yard. No.
It's like your country is admitting that you're incapable of learning something new.
I'm in my 20s. I'm not learning meters. Get the fuck out of here. We're all sticking with inches and feet for now. Because the alternative is to learn something else, which is not going to happen.
But if you just start the new generation, if you just change the education curriculum
and teach them meters,
why not? Then you'd be with the rest of the world.
Yeah, we need to fix way more about the education system.
Yeah, probably.
We got other things to work out before that. But things about your countries, I don't know.
I don't think you know anything about any country other than America, because you're American. Ouch. Bam.
Yeah, those are the way Americans are.
That's another thing. You don't know anything.
UK, your food sucks in the UK.
Okay, take a shot.
That's kind of weird, right?
I've always heard Americans say that, but like, what does that actually mean?
They don't like crumpets.
What, that your food isn't good?
What do you mean?
Have?
Like,
what's like the traditional UK? Like if I go to America, there's burgers, steak, fucking chicken, and then you got like all the different cultures. You got Chinese food, you got fucking Indian food, you got all kinds of good stuff. UK, like what is the UK known for in terms of food?
Bangers and mash.
Yeah.
That sucks. I'll never fucking eat that garbage.
No, bangers and mash is good.
Yeah,
bangers and mash. Let me see if I ever. Yeah, bangers and mash.
The go-to like takeaways here are Chinese, Indian, fish and chips.
Yeah, fish and chips.
Fish and chips?
What's
like Yorkshire pudding?
It's not a meal.
How's it not a meal? How's it any less of a meal than a burger?
Of course it's not a meal to an American. You guys don't even understand portion sizes. Bam.
No.
Ouch.
We have 2 cheeseburgers
fat, bro.
and fucking
It's fat.
Yeah, we know how to eat. We know how to enjoy food.
You know how to eat too much. Bam.
Unlike the UK, they got to outsource all their food.
Because we're a tiny island.
Like France has amazing food. They're known for so much great food. In Italy and Germany.
Like what?
The UK's got nothing. You got fish and chips.
Oh, come on. Once you have good fish and chips, you'll be alright. Your life will be changed. You can make anything
What's weird about Canada?
In any country. You just go to a supermarket and buy ingredients.
I want to know if you know anything about Canada, Ralph.
Canada. I feel like there's a lot of weird about Canada.
Like what?
You guys are too nice.
Oh, boo.
Oh, boo.
Okay, in with the nice one.
It's a funny stereotype.
Is that
I'm not upset
true?
about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not really harmful.
Would
you say it's genuinely quite true though?
Yeah, of course. There was there was a story about a hitchhiking robot. Basically, it was like this this tiny little thing that had like a camera and could like talk or whatever, but nothing complex. It like held a sign saying like, I'm trying to get across Canada. It started on one end of Canada and made it all the way to the other, and it was considered this like huge success. Like, oh wow, people just like picked up this robot, drove it in a car, and dropped it off at a place, and then somebody else did. It was kind of cool. Then they tried it in America, and within a day, it was like destroyed. It was literally fucking trash. They broke the robot.
Yeah.
Like somebody fucking destroyed it.
Because we don't give a fuck.
I think Canada has its own political issues for sure. And yeah, there's some divisiveness between provinces, et cetera, but I think, living right next to America, it's very difficult to consider many of our problems to be all that serious.
Hey, we all got problems.
Yeah.
What's a serious problem with America?
I don't know, poverty, school shootings, there's a few.
Hey, you got your issues too. I don't know them because
Like,
I don't know anything about Canada.
There's like states where it's legal to not hire someone because of their like sexuality and or gender identity. There's states where it's very difficult for women to get abortions. Like there's a whole list of things in America that healthcare. There's a big one. That's another thing that you're not with the rest of the world on yet.
Damn, Adam's going in.
I don't know. I think our healthcare's fine, but
Yeah.
we can argue healthcare another time.
Well, ours is free in the UK, and it's not doing too good at the moment.
Yeah.
No, it's
right.
kind of
All the
shambles.
countries with free socialized healthcare have pretty bad healthcare,
I wouldn't say so.
from what I know.
Well, that's because you live in America.
I think. Well, my healthcare is very good, and I think most people have pretty good healthcare in America, from what I know.
if you
I
can
mean, I'm
afford
no
it.
fucking expert on healthcare. I don't think any of us are. All I know is a lot of socialized countries with free healthcare have bad healthcare.
Depends how big they are.
Most of the money you spend on healthcare, I believe, is like the last 10 years of your life. So, just a fun fact.
Makes sense. But what about like
So-
as far as odd things about other countries?
Yeah.
My one for America is the immense costs that go into the military. Like honestly,
Yeah.
the amount
Oh,
that
for
spent
us?
dwarfs. It's insane. It's like 600 billion or something a year.
Yeah,
Which
it's
is
our
like
biggest
3
industry.
times the size of China. It's crazy to me.
Devil's advocate point coming in here. If America didn't do it, would another country have to? That's a part of the alliance here. Because I think our countries don't really have to because America does. I think like Canada doesn't have to have a giant military because it's like, oh, what?
No,
You're gonna fuck with Canada? We got
Yeah.
America buddies over here.
We're right next door. We
Yeah,
got your back.
We're their hat. You gonna fuck with America's hat?
I never heard Canada referred to as America's hat, but I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're our
It's funny.
pants.
Yeah, it would just be Russia then, who would have the largest
Yeah.
military, and we don't want
Or
that.
China.
You want Russia to have the largest military?
Yeah.
But
Global
that's why.
foreign policy.
We
on this
literally will
podcast.
keep everyone else in line. Because even if China and Russia took us on, we might beat them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
And Eddie, I haven't. I'm still waiting for you guys to shit on Canada a little.
What can we say?
there's not much
Maple
to say
syrup.
about Canada. You guys
Yeah.
are fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think we're fine. I think we're doing pretty good.
you're too fucking nice.
I like
Yeah,
living
think
here.
about the stereotypes. That none of them are harmful at all. No one can think of anything. It's just maple syrup, hockey, and that you're nice. Wow.
Yeah.
There must be some like hidden secret about Canada that we don't know about. You're all like pieces of shit. Like you must have some like kind of dark secrets. Do you have like caves where you fucking hide children and like keep them there
Caves?
forever or something that you all know about? Like this underground cave network? I don't know.
Who told you? Yeah, I mean, like every country has their issues. There's, there's corruption in politics, and corporate interests being put ahead of public interest, and Canada has its own history with racism, etc., and just terrible things that have happened. But again, living right next to America, it's really difficult to to feel like our problems are that big. I think we're doing fine.
You got no shots to fire at the UK over here? Come on, give us
Just
your
your
best.
food.
Well,
and
I've
soccer.
never been to the UK is the
That's it.
problem. I've never actually been, so it would be very difficult for me to make accurate criticisms. You guys, I don't know. You guys have some interesting words every once in a while. It's kind of funny. Oh yeah, here's my criticism that I think I understand. Just being a person on
Okay.
the internet is what your police force is like going around collecting people's hammers and shit, saying that they're weapons and like
Oh, it's like a joke
censorship
that will,
and like that whole
cucks, yeah.
like Count Dankula thing and like
Oh,
no,
yeah,
you can
that.
go to jail for like saying words. Like Canada doesn't have as much free speech as America does on paper, I guess, but like it's not as Orwellian as the UK seems to be at this point.
Well, yeah, it's an issue when you can be prosecuted and go to jail if someone breaks into your house and they scratch their leg on the glass.
Yeah, that's weird.
Stuff like that. Or like you're not allowed to injure people that come into your home or break in or stuff like that. You're not allowed any kind of weapon on you. It's illegal to like carry mace around or any kind of weapon that you can use to harm people. Yeah.
Meanwhile, with us, it's the exact opposite. We could just
It is
walk
the
around with
exact
fucking
opposite.
Open
assault
carry.
rifles. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know
it's
if-
hard to get. It's hard to get a gun. It should be harder. It's hard to get a gun.
It's a lot easier to get a gun in America than it is in Canada. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. But it's not like you just walk into Walmart and get it. Although in some, actually, that's kind of true.
Yeah, you can
can
buy
buy them
them
at
from
Walmart.
Walmart actually.
Not an assault rifle. You can get like a hunting rifle.
Yeah.
You can't get it like a pistol. This is a very dense question. He just asked us if there's some weird
That's
things
awesome.
about our countries, and we ended up talking about freedom of speech and gun control.
That's
Global
what it boils
foreign
down to in the end.
policy.
Yeah, global
Healthcare.
foreign policy,
Yeah, on this movie podcast and a bunch of memes and shit. Like,
military budget.
yeah.
What's
Yeah.
a funny
Welcome to
English, what's an
Sardonicast.
odd English word you meant then? I want to know what you find odd about my language.
I don't know. I'll bring it up next time you say one, I guess. I
say
can't
it
think of
enough.
one.
I say them enough to the point where you can point out
Every once in a
one.
while. I don't know. It's just
Rigmarole. You said
Rigmarole.
rigmarole once.
Yeah, that was
that's
one.
a
I
good.
think.
That's a good word. That's a good UK word.
Yeah, there's a few out there. I don't
Yeah,
know.
we're good at swearing and stuff.
I would have to visit the UK to get a more thorough understanding. Really.
Yeah, just don't bring like a weapon. You'll be all
I'm
right.
not planning on it. Yeah. Our country's got legal weed now. Boy.
We're behind over here in terms of that.
Mm-hmm.
Still illegal. No one actually cares though. That's all.
Yeah.
The police just
Maybe
don't
you
care.
should get freedom of speech first, and then you can worry about the weed. That seems like a pretty important one.
Yeah. Canada's
No, I'm with you,
definitely
man.
got issues, but like nobody pays any attention to what's going on in Canada anyway. So it's like we just all deal with it ourselves.
Nah, it's a bit of a cluster over here, to be honest.
Hmm.
You got it right over there in Canada at the moment, I expect.
I think we're
One
doing
more
fine.
question?
Yeah, we can do one more.
Yeah, okay. This is an interesting one I want to know your guys' opinions on. We've touched on it briefly in the early days, nearly like a year ago, I think, at this point. But Ralph's Jankum has a question about our thoughts on films with exceptionally long runtimes, such as, excuse my pronunciation of some of these, but Satan Tango. You heard of this? It's a 7-hour and 30-minute long movie alongside The Evolution of a Filipino Family, which is 9 hours and 53 minutes long. Out One, which is
Bellatar.
12 hours.
Bela.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Rezan, which is 14 hours and 33 minutes long. Would you watch them? Are you willing?
I
what are your
would.
thoughts on movies that long?
I've never seen a movie that long. The longest movie I've seen was, I think, Lawrence of Arabia, right? 3 hours, 48 minutes, yeah.
That's nothing
So-
compared to the 15 hours
Yeah,
long.
I
Nearly
don't
some
know.
of these are.
I don't know if I could do that.
Yeah.
I could do it in chunks.
There's like a guy that's like making the longest movie ever, and it's supposed to be like weeks or some shit. Like he released like a 72-hour long trailer online, and it's just a bunch of random
what's it called?
There's no story. I don't know. Look it up. It's literally just
Yeah,
like
so he just filmed a
someone's-
bunch of shit.
Yeah, he's just
Yeah.
filming a bunch of dumb shit. Literally, and it's just like okay,
that's
you
not
just,
a funny
you just
shit
want to
to
be
me.
in the Guinness Book
I
of
want
World
like a
Records.
legit movie made like that, though. Like a
Yeah.
weeks long movie that's made
Like an
like
actual
a real
Odyssey.
Movie.
You should check out Lev Diaz. Norte: The End of History was great. That one's 4 hours 10 minutes long. That's like a really great movie. I think that you both should watch
Okay.
it. Honestly,
Maybe recommend it one day.
yeah, maybe I could do that.
Did you watch it in like one sitting?
Yeah, I think so.
Or
I watched
or did you
it. I
split
watched it
up?
twice. It was on my 2014 list, I think. So, yeah.
Damn.
I mean, like, I'm sure I went to the bathroom, but yeah. I mean, this guy is. I think he's from the Philippines, but he's basically known as kind of like a figurehead in the slow cinema movement, if that's a thing. Yeah, there was a film he made called From What Is Before, and that was 5 hours 38 minutes, and that was pretty good.
God damn.
He's a good director.
It's a matter if it earns it, you know.
Yeah,
There are so many movies that don't earn their running time. If you can make a 10-hour movie that earns every hour of it, then go ahead. But if even 3 hours are bad, then that's hard to justify to me.
it's like marathoning a miniseries. You might as well,
Yeah.
right? Like, there's no difference.
Yeah.
Miniseries are essentially just movies that, every hour there'll be some sort of cliffhanger, I guess.
yeah.
Yeah, they're structured to get the emotional punch
Yeah.
in that hour.
To make you want to click
Yeah.
next,
Right. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
figure a lot of these movies aren't structured like that. I think a 72-hour movie doesn't even have a structure. It's
Of
probably
course
just
not.
a bunch of shit.
Of course.
Too
not.
far gone at that point. If it's just random
You would
shit,
have
like,
to
what's the
invent a
point?
new way of telling a story for that to work. You'd have to have like a 20-act story.
Yeah. We'll see. I'll check out that Bela Tar one at one point. I don't know when the fuck I'll do that, though. It's a
I
whole
remember
day.
you mentioning that movie. I can't remember what it was. It was like this really obscure, like 6-hour long movie
Oh yeah,
that
it was
you
like some
called really
pretentious art
pretentious
film.
or something. Yeah.
Oh, the Cremaster cycle?
That's
Yeah,
the one.
Cremaster Cycle.
Yeah, those are bullshit. Those are bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, those
The
are
funniest idea to
Those
me.
are just pretentious garbage.
Yeah. The idea of making a movie that long already is kind of pretentious.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's hard to like not if the number one thing about your movie is it's long, and that's like it. It's nothing to
yeah.
do with like the actual
Like, that's
quality
not a
of it.
selling point, buddy.
It's just like a gimmick. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. You got no.
Could have
respect
made a
for my
movie that
time.
was 5 minutes long with the same
Matthew
resources, and it would have
Barney.
been better. It would have been way better.
Yeah, the Cremaster, completely out of order. Some of them are like short films. Some of them are. Let's see how long this one is. Cremaster 5.
Do they have a
is-
story?
It's like
Or
it's
is it
like
just vague imagery?
It kind of has a story. It's like it kind of just wants to be Holy Mountain-esque, but doesn't know how. It's
Oh right, yeah.
it's one
I
of
see.
those. So he released a film. His most recent one was in 2014 called River of Fundament, and that one is 5 hours and 20 minutes long. And you can't find it anywhere because it just does like the only screenings that it does are like at museums and like I
Really?
guess like I don't know. I checked on the website and it's like all these like art galleries and stuff screening the film, just random places. But like I don't know, just put it on iTunes or something. Let me watch it. It's got Paul Giamatti in it.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's weird.
Huh.
Maggie Gyllenhaal and Ellen Bernstein.
I went to like an art exhibition somewhere, and that Kiwi actress from Lord of the Rings was just in it. Kate Blanchett was just in this
Oh.
random installation. I was
Mhm.
like, oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, if a long movie's good, then good. I think there is such a thing as too long, where it's like that just
Oh,
for
becomes
sure.
the point, and it's like okay, you just wanted to make a long movie, but you don't give a shit about the actual movie other than it just being long. So,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
all right, that's about it,
That's
I guess.
Woo! Another one done.
We done.
Another one.
We've done it, boys.
Done it.
We've did it. We got him. It's been a year or more. I think it's been more than a year now.
Yeah. Happy anniversary. Is it
Aw.
my turn?
Is it?
To-
It
Is
is.
it?
Yeah, is it?
It actually is this time, Ralph.
It actually is this time. Okay, good. Perfect. Thank you. I just wanted to make sure.
I like how you
So
checked.
there's no fucking.
I thought
no
you'd have been looking
fucking
forward to that
complaints.
hardcore.
Yeah. All right. So the movie I'm recommending for next episode is a movie by Martin Scorsese called After Hours.
Okay.
It's from 1985. You guys
Cool.
haven't seen this, right?
No.
No.
Awesome.
Good.
85 Scorsese. It's on my watch list already.
Yeah, so
Good.
mine too.
You guys will enjoy it.
Dang.
Nice. Looks good. Brilliant.
Mm-hmm. It's a
Freaking
nice
sweet.
change of pace too, because it's a fun movie and it's not a piece of shit like
Hopefully
Madagascar.
not.
So
how easy was it for you to find the celebration, Alex?
it was very
Oh,
hard for me to find it.
Really?
Oh, you're
It was
right, sorry.
easy. It was piss
Yeah.
easy for me. Just
really?
on Amazon.
Oh,
It
awesome.
was like
Great.
£1.50 to rent.
Awesome. Glad to hear.
Yeah, I was pleased about that.
I already had the DVD, so
Oh no, yeah, sweet. This one should be easy to find. Though Scorsese movies, so
yeah.
pretty
Yeah,
accessible.
All right, yeah, if
Yeah,
anybody listening wants to join in on the discussion, next episode for After Hours, directed by Martin Scorsese, watch it before the next episode if you do not want to be spoiled.
Actually, After Hours is available for free on Vudu with ads.
Oh.
So for
I don't
those of
want to
you
watch
who
a
don't
movie
have
with
money,
ads, sorry. Maybe somebody
Yeah,
else will.
But for those of you who want, you could just do that, or just pay $3.
Free is free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watch it before
Anyway.
next episode if you don't want to be spoiled. Thank you so much for listening. If you want to support the show, Sardonicast.com. Sign up for premium. $2 a month gets you these episodes early. And also patreon.com/Sardonicast. Is our merch link working yet? Did anybody check this shit?
I have been working on it.
Okay.
The store is just
Damn it.
about set up, I think,
Okay.
and it should have that integration where you can sort of see them on the videos, which would be quite good. So.
Okay, cool.
Also,
Yeah, we'll have
our
merch again in a
Spotify
bit.
broke, but it should be back up now.
It should be
Especially
back
by
up?
the point this episode's up. Yeah,
Okay.
it should be back up.
Yeah, sorry,
If not now,
Spotifyers.
then by the time this episode. Yeah, I don't know. Everything just broke all of a sudden. our merch link, our website,
Yeah.
It all went wrong.
This is hard.
Spotify, iTunes. Yeah, it is.
They're trying to take us down.
Yeah.
They're trying to stop us. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.